I only saw one clip on TikTok. Matt's trying to explain 17-year-old whiskey.
Of heavy rain and flooding continues today. The weather setup is very similar to what we saw yesterday. I didn't know they were on TikTok.
What? It's this uncomfortable look at each other for a minute. Are we already on TikTok? Are we already on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. It's this uncomfortable look at each other, and then T-Bob shouts at somebody who's watching the show on an oil rig. And then Matt tries to bring it back around to whatever the next topic is. It is single-handedly just like, comedic moment-wise, it's got to be top 5 of everything they've done.
The only other thing I've seen them.
Are we up?
I didn't know they were on TikTok.
They did something where T-Bob like spit on it.
And what?
T-Bob accidentally he could spit on it.
Oh no!
Where are my headphones?
Yesterday, Brian.
You need these?
No, mine are still on my desk. I'm just off this morning.
Yesterday, Brian was trying to grab people or get people to grab him.
Yeah.
I was gonna actually grab you nuts today.
Was it?
Yeah, for real. But more like almonds. Yeah.
I'm not judgy.
Your opinion.
6:06. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Cade Wazan producing. Alondra had to move across the hall this morning. How about now? 6:06. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. I'm also on mic 3. How about now? All right. No, because that thing stays in the corner. I don't like mic 2. It's 6:06 at Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Cade Wazan producing. You already heard Alondra. She is across the hall doing traffic this morning. Hey, we got a big show lined up for you today. Looking forward to it throughout the day today. A lot of ground to cover with Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show. We talk business every Thursday, and today is no different. When Patty G comes in less than half an hour from right now. Hang on. I got it right here. We need to be talking about, number one, small business owners. It's one of my favorite topics. So 80% of new IRS revenue will come from small businesses earning, get this, how small of a small business? Earning under $200,000 per business. That according to a number of tax experts. A lot to unpack there. Namely, when you talk about unemployment's down everywhere, but everybody's still looking for employees, how does that happen? Well, this is telling us that a lot of people are just starting their own jobs. They're doing their own thing. Not even looking at LLC or beyond LLC. I mean, you're talking about just when you get down to the soul of the sole proprietorship, right? When you get down to the one-man band. What are we looking at there? What kind of fields are they in, and where is this headed? We will talk with Patty G at 6:35. Actually, when we talk with Patrick Grimion about that, I also want to talk about 15 essential financial goals that every business should have or every business should achieve in their first year. If we're looking at that many small businesses getting out there and getting ramped up, well, where should their aim be? That's at 6:35. In the 7 o'clock hour, we take more of an educational focus. State Superintendent of Education, Dr. Cade Brumley, going to join me at 7:15. We're getting ready for the new school year with Dr. Brumley. 7:35, Crimestoppers coming your way. Lieutenant Don Capola will be in. We will see if we can't catch some bad guys. In the 8 o'clock hour, right back to the educational front, Ken Campbell heads up new schools for Baton Rouge. What's the new school year looking like on the charter school front in Baton Rouge? A number of charter schools opened up over the last year. Now, as the number of charter schools in Baton Rouge, and throughout Louisiana for that matter, as the number grows, keeping tabs on making sure they're all moving in the right direction is going to be a more difficult task. Keeping tabs on making sure that they're all following similar guidelines and the like will be a difficult task. Oversight is what we're going to be talking about on top of the new school year. Then we're going to round things out by talking with the East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Mid-City MicroCon is coming up. What is that? No, seriously, I'm asking. What is that? No, Mid-City MicroCon's coming up, and we'll break it down at 8:35. That plus top stories and trending, the outside in, this day in history, and a whole lot more as we make our way through the show this morning. Before we get into our first break, I do kind of want to look back at yesterday morning. Whew, how bad was it? I mean, you couldn't go too far in Baton Rouge without seeing an overwhelming amount of water, and by overwhelming, I mean overtopping streets. As much effort is being put in right now to clear out drains, it's still, we're not on the winning battle or winning side of the battle when it comes to fighting floods. We're not on the winning side of the battle when it comes to keeping our streets not dry, but not underwater. There were so many roads in and around Baton Rouge yesterday that were just submerged at some point. Folks had to stop, turn around wherever they were going. I had a friend of mine going from the Garden District to LSU. Not a hard trip, right? 2-hour drive. Why? Stop and turn around. I was going from here, downtown, all the way out to Sherwood. And, I like to take North Boulevard because it's a nice little sneak through because nobody else in the world seems to want to take it. I shouldn't say nobody, but it's oftentimes a very lonely drive. You got elbow room if you're taking North Boulevard in the middle of the day. No, not so much. You get up around 22nd, completely underwater. I always like to gauge by seeing, because, the tagline is turn around, don't drown, right? I like to say, my tagline is, you go first, let's see how it works out. That's my tagline. And when a truck goes in, truck makes it about midway through before giving up and stopping, turning themselves around, and then the water's backing up because it's already up to the doors of the truck. I take one look at that and say, my little Ford Focus, no, we ain't even going to try. You had I-110 at the Governor's Mansion curve. You had North Boulevard. You had Nicholson at Burbank. You had numerous spots around LSU's campus. You had the Acadian Thruway underpass, a couple spots along Goodwood Boulevard. What else did you see? Where else was it? Let me know. I heard from a number of listeners yesterday after the show was over with, either sending me direct messages or letting me know via YouTube, which, by the way, you can let me know via YouTube. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane on YouTube. The show is there live every day. We take your feedback, live interaction every single day. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button while you're there. Get an alert as to when we go live and who we'll be talking to and what we'll be talking about. Let me know. What did you see yesterday? And are we going to see more of it? You heard a forecast from Marissa Nuzzo a little while ago. We'll hear from her a little bit later on in the show. Right now, due up for our first break. Coming back, talking Saints football next on Talk 107.3. Okay. I got to get my headphones, but I got to get you a spot. I go get my headphones, but I didn't realize Alondra was across the hall today. So, wait, that is your copy. You don't have to copy that. That is your copy. She sent you the Dennis Allen spot? Okay, well, I sent it too.
Together, we build schools out of abandoned buildings. Together, we bring food to hungry children in need. Together, we see solutions instead of problems. We are the 1.2 million members of Rotary, community leaders in your neighborhood and around the globe, brought together to do one thing: make more good happen. Connect with us at Rotary.org. Together, we are Rotary, and we are people of action.
Hey guys, this is Todd from Rebel Heating and Air. Your heating and air conditioning system requires essential cleaning and care to ensure efficient and safe operation. Call Rebel today and schedule an appointment. That's Rebel Heating and Air, 929-8944. And remember, the bitter taste of a poor installation will remain much longer than the sweet taste of that lowest price. Call us today, 929-8944. That's Rebel Heating and Air, 929-8944. Or go to rebelheatingandair.com.
As we live longer, age is really just a number. But retirement is so much more than one.
Yeah, so it's going to go 16, 17, and then that one, okay?
One out of retirement. We can help get you there. Together, we can look at the big picture and make a strategy to help you reach your goals. Because you can't prepare for the unexpected if you don't know where you're headed. To schedule an appointment, contact Tex Morris in Baton Rouge. Wednesday in Dennis Springs. Kyle Robichaux in Plaquemine. Lance Lamar in Central. Or Matt LeBlanc in Donaldsonville.
I'm Alondra Villarreal in the Guarantee Media Traffic Center, brought to you by Shawgo's, where you can get a free t-shirt with purchase of any 4 new tires with the trim, Mr. Flynn. Alright, it is still pretty early this morning, so traffic is pretty light as of now. I know my drive into work was super chill, not a lot of people on the roads, but we do have a traffic crash on Chippewa Street that is causing a little bit of backup, but not much. Taking a look at some drive times, Highland to the Bridge is only about 15 minutes right now, and 15 minutes Juban to the 10-12 split. Also, just to note, there is a little bit of sprinkling going on outside, and it is going to rain later, so be careful.
Yeah, it's going to rain. It's going to rain.
Hey, this is Ken Coleman from the Ken Coleman Show. You can listen to me weeknights from
Ah, I left it in the freezer too long. Cockapoo.
new flavor of talk in Baton Rouge.
616 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Sports Time on Mornings with Brian Haldane. Time to check in with Saints Camp. Give me 10 seconds before that to let you know. LSU players reported yesterday. First practice is today. It is time. It is upon us. Oh, can't wait. So much excitement around the new coach, around the program, around just the different battles on the field, who's going to be playing where. And the beautiful part about LSU football this season, nationally, zero expectations. If you look at some of the mobile sports betting apps, you're looking at an over-under on wins of 6.5. Assuming they run the table in the non-conference schedule, that means just 2.5 wins. That means you win 3 games in conference, and you're out in front. Well, they did that last year, so awesome. All right, down at Saints Camp, though. After missing the first 6 days of training camp, Saints safety Tyrann Mathieu has finally joined his teammates at training camp. Oh, the long New Orleans nightmare is over with, but he deleted all his Instagram stuff. Yeah, all that's over with now. Mathieu, attending to a family matter, heard Coach Dennis Allen says his time away should not hurt his ability to pick up the defense.
When you really want to talk about what we're doing defensively from a schematic standpoint, it's not a lot different than what you're going to see in a lot of the other teams. Really, it gets more down to just terminology and just some of the minor little adjustments that we might make. So I feel like he'll get back in the swing of things there, and it won't take long. It's more about just getting him ready for football conditioning.
Yeah, Tyrann Mathieu is a seasoned NFL veteran and a freak show athlete. No doubt. There's just so much consternation when he's a little bit late, and then somebody picked up on the Instagram thing, and it turned into a whole panic. Meanwhile, several guys have stood out in those first 6 days. One guy that keeps getting compliments is guard Cesar Ruiz. The latest came from veteran guard Andres Pete.
I say he might have made the most improvement out of anyone, so I think he's made huge strides. As far as his technique, his hands, punching, the timing of his hands, and getting in the right body position. So I'm really excited for him that he's playing with confidence and getting better.
Meanwhile, going back to Coach Allen, a lot of talk about dudes getting chippy. Training camp gets in, and guys are they're scrapping a little bit. There's some back and forth going on, some brouhaha, some not a full-on Donnybrook, but they're getting after it. Coach Dennis Allen says we ain't got no time for that.
Yeah, obviously you want practices to be spirited, competitive, but when it goes a little bit too far, do you have to kind of?
Yeah, we don't have time for that. And so, I sent 2 guys in today, and we got to get our work done. So we got to learn. We got to learn as a team how to compete and how to play and how to practice. All right, and push ourselves to the limit, but yet not take it over the edge.
Is that conversation you're going to have to talk to with Trevor because he's been involved?
It's gonna happen with everybody. It happened with the team out here. It'll happen with those 2 players. Sometime between now and the next practice.
The follow-up question was about Trevor Penning, specifically Penning, a first-round draft pick on the offensive line. He's a bad, bad boy. So that's what Dennis Allen says publicly. But, if you're the coach, you're the first-year coach, and your guys are stepping out with a little bit of fire, there's a little pride underneath that. Here comes the Fox Business Report. What up, dude? Nothing. LRN 4, 5, and 6 here. Do what? It ain't me, bro. Oh, hey there, Cade. Kill my mic for a second. First of all, good morning, Christy. Welcome in, boo. Wife's up early this morning. Getting back ready to the swing of school season. Oh, got your park attack. Or your, yeah. Yeah. Yes. He's making a joke saying the state. Do what? Lebitard. Meth. Aw. Yeah, I remember one time I was trying to say have fun and good luck at the same time. Yeah. No, it just came out. Yeah. I will tell you the first letter in fun and the last three letters in luck came out of my mouth. Hey, did you already edit the log for the morning? Oh, shit. Okay. I zero out the ones that are the ones that have live reads in them. But I've seen a lot of things that are normally showing up as 3 minutes. They show up as 2 minutes. So, all good. God, scone and tea last night. So epic. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. So we are 2 months and 4 days into hurricane season, and if you're looking at the National Hurricane Center, the map that they show of the Atlantic and the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico, it says right on the middle of it, tropical cyclone activity not expected during the next 48 hours. This morning, later on this morning, the NOAA, the National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration, will issue its yearly August update to the Atlantic hurricane season. And even though it's been quiet so far, state climatologist Barry Kime says he doesn't expect their update to differ greatly from the original 14 to 21 named storms, in which 6 to 10 would show up as major hurricanes.
I very much expect it to look much the same as what they forecasted at the beginning of the year. They could perhaps downgrade it just a little bit given how quiet it has been, but we're really just getting to the teeth of the season.
And he's right. We are just getting to the teeth of the season. In fact, I would guess, give it, 2 more weeks? 2 more weeks, and then just watch them start churning out. Just churning it day after day after day. 2 weeks from today, I would not be shocked to sit down in this chair, look at that very same map, and see 3 or 4 different blips on the radar. Kime believes there's every expectation that 2022 will still be an above-average hurricane season, despite, we've only had 3 named storms so far.
To date, we've only had 3 tropical storms. They were all short-lived, really didn't do much damage, and haven't really gotten much media attention. But keep in mind, that's pretty average for this point in the year.
It is. It is. What we've seen the last couple years has kind of changed our perception of what hurricane season's supposed to be. We've had a number of early storms. Let's not forget, year before last, didn't we have 3 storms before June 1? Above average sea temperatures coupled with the La Nina tend to create a busy hurricane season. Kime says both are in place. It's too early to let our guard down just yet. Kime says traditionally the busiest part of the season runs from mid-August through the first week of October.
We're maybe a little behind from where we were expecting to be. We're basically on par, but I still think that we're going to have a very busy core piece of the season.
No doubt. No doubt. Not being out to an early start is not going to change what happens over the next couple weeks. And that La Nina, a number of forecasters, or I don't know the science between how a La Nina or an El Nino gets started, but Dr. Josh Eaches does. And when he came on at the beginning of hurricane season, he said this is the last year we're expected to have a La Nina. So I wonder if there's anything to the waning La Nina as part of it. Also, the Saharan dust has played a major factor in what's been created and what's not. Saharan dust, while it affects everyone's allergies, has kept the air dry all coming off of Africa and then over the Atlantic. So knocking down tropical waves before they become tropical waves. That being said, once things really start getting cranking, once we get into the meat of the season, we talk with Dr. Aegis. You just heard from Barry Keim. We've heard from NOAA on a couple of different fronts that they're just going to start churning out. Just keep an eye on not just the La Nina, but the water temperatures are absolutely ripe and primed for hurricane development, especially in the Gulf of Mexico. It's already there in the Gulf of Mexico as far as the water temperatures are concerned. In fact, not just the Gulf, but in the Atlantic, they're on the high side as well. We need to get Philip Klotzbach back on the show again. It's been a little while since we've had Philip on. He's with the National Hurricane Center, and he's a fantastic resource. Backstory there. Philip Klotzbach worked under Dr. Bill Gray. Dr. Bill Gray basically developed the National Hurricane Center, made it what it is out at Colorado State University. And, further backstory there. Why in the world would the National Hurricane Center come to us from Colorado State University, right? It's a legit question. Dr. Gray, when he was before he was in his post at Colorado State, was in the Air Force and spent a lot of time flying over the Atlantic and really got into the science behind how the weather is formed, how it grows, how it moves across the Atlantic, and tracking things throughout hurricane season. So once he landed, that's what he took on, and he just had a post at Colorado State, so that's where he took it on. But getting back to the sea surface temperatures, Philip Klotzbach tweeted yesterday, current 30-day average tropical Atlantic sea surface temperatures are tracking between a typical above average and hyperactive Atlantic hurricane season. So when the NOAA comes back out later on today, do not expect a tapering off, if you will, which kind of means it's going to ramp up. Going to be a busy couple weeks. That being said, we got nothing on the radar for the next couple days, so enjoy. All right, we're coming up on a break here in just a little bit. We got CBS News coming your way, local news, traffic, weather. Then Patrick Gremion, host of the Patty G Show, is going to join us. Hey, after the show is over this morning, if you're looking for content to just enjoy throughout your day, check out dropbiscuitstudios.com. Drop Biscuit's a little thing that we've been working on here at Guarantee Media. Southern storytellers telling Southern stories. Michelle Southern's Only in Louisiana podcast is there. My Cool Story Bro is there. Scone and Tea is there. And if you missed Scone and Tea last night, you're missing everything in the world. Oh, trust me. Here comes CBS News. What? Yeah, I tried to get Thane Rosenbaum on the show this morning. He was not available in the one segment where I wanted him. The last segment, actually. It belongs in the production room. It belongs in the production room. We had an incident.
That's it. We're just gonna leave it there. What was the incident?
Somebody else said I was faking it, by the way.
Really?
That's yeah.
Who said you faked it?
Amber said I faked it, and then who was the other person that said I faked it? They're like,
Straight up fell out.
Casey said they made
so when the chair leaned, you couldn't see it because I'm still blocking it, but one of the wheels fell out, so the chair dipped and leaned, and it was at that point I'm like, well, I'm going down either way. Either I get out in front of the chair and have it fall on my back, or I could just fall with the chair and smack my head on that thing. So I decided go down first and let the chair fall on me.
Was that like?
Dude, I know how to fall. I know,
Do you fall often, Brian?
No. Growing up, can I explain? Or you're getting back on the fast break. You know you're about to get dunked on, so you take the position, you take the charge. You know how to fall. Kids today don't know how to take a charge.
You're saying
I made that an old man thing.
You're saying that was a great flop?
No, it wasn't a flop. It was a charge. Offensive foul going back up the court.
The viewers
Yeah.
think, oh, for sure.
2 viewers think it was a flop. My left shoulder says otherwise.
For every one viewer, that's 100 viewers. So 200 viewers.
Well, it depends on who you're asking. It depends on if you're talking about ratings or FCC violations. If it's ratings, it's for every 2 viewers, it's 100. If it's an FCC violation, that's 20,000 people.
Yeah. Were you? Please tell me you were like live at the time, on air.
Yeah, that's how I got it. That's how we got the
Well,
video.
I know on YouTube, but like
No,
on
it's
the radio.
No, it was in the 6 o'clock news.
I think that would have
Before
been
it got started.
hysterical. People drive from their cars.
Oh!
Everybody sitting there.
Brian had like literally no reaction to those.
No, I got up. I picked the chair back up. I tried to figure out what was going on. Moved it off to the side. I did my show.
I did my show.
Like another damn paradise.
Casey said he made a GIF and I want to see the GIF.
Yeah, he emailed it to me. For some reason, my phone won't let me email anything with an forward an email with an attachment.
Just text,
I'll send it.
airdrop it. Just airdrop it to her.
Could you, for better effect, you could have pulled the curtain back, opened that window, and just chunked it out the window.
The chair?
If the chair would fit through the window, it would have already been gone.
It would have hit the
But no, I like where you're at.
transformer.
Love where your mind is at.
Or it would bounce back from the window and just hit you in the face.
What movie or show is that where they try to get out and the guy throws the same thing? He grabs his office chair and tries to break the window and it's.
I don't know. But
Saturday Night Live sketch, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't think so because I don't typically watch a lot of Saturday Night Live.
You don't
Scratch-
typically watch a lot of anything.
Scratch
do you?
that. I don't watch Saturday Night Live.
I used to watch Saturday Night Live back when it was good.
Back when I was good.
Back before Pete Davidson left.
No, before Pete Davidson was even there, I used to watch it. Like when it was like Andy Samberg and all.
Oh yeah. The good old
They had
days.
that one OC sketch, and it's like, what you say?
Oh my God, that was hilarious.
And the
It's-
cops come in and Bill Hader.
Bill Hader was the underrated goat on that cast.
Yes. Oh my God, the California song's the best. And he's like, I'm getting on the 405. And they're like, get on the 405 and just keeps going.
Dylan,
Was it time with
what are you doing here?
the Stefan where Mulaney wrote, you know how they call Black Dracula Blackula? You know what they Dracula? He said it was totally something he wrote after they
Right, he has one script for Stefan during rehearsal and then changes it out for the live show.
Cue card?
Yes, so that Stefan has no idea what's coming.
That's why he cracks up.
Yeah. It's like, you know how they call Black Dracula Blackula? Or you know what they call Jewish Dracula? Murray Applebaum.
It was just that it's
So bad.
it's just stuff where it's like
It's so good.
type of like hilarious moment.
Yes.
So not like intro.
Time to get a look at today's forecast. Yes, there is more rain in the forecast, but how much? Here comes WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo.
The risk of heavy rain and flooding continues today. The weather setup is very similar to what we saw yesterday, though there may be some differences in time. By late morning,
I sure hope it's not the same as yesterday.
setting up, and wherever they do, those areas will be most at risk for flooding. Stay connected to the storm station. In the event there is flooding, make sure you have a way to see warning information. A flash flood warning was issued several times yesterday, and it's possible they could be reissued again today for your area. Again, stay connected and stay weather aware.
you stay connected.
I think she is.
I almost called her Marissaologist. Marissaologist, Meteor Newso.
Morologist?
Morologist.
We've got morologist coming your way.
I'm in my own head about the scone and tea thing. That was just hilarious. 638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time to welcome in Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, as we do every Thursday. What's happening?
Good morning, Brian. How are you recovering?
What do you mean recovering? I'm good.
You sure?
What do you mean recovering?
You got full mobility in your shoulder?
No. Oh, so no. It's not going to be a thing for 2 days in a row, or whenever that
This
was.
is the first day for me. So
3
it's the
days
first
in a
day
row. For those that don't know, we had a chair that broke Tuesday morning. Well, actually, it broke Monday evening.
Some say it was sabotage.
It's yeah, I think the Beastie Boys did. So chair breaks Monday evening. I sit in it Tuesday morning. Wheel falls out. Chair tips over. I take a little bit of a spill. That's it. This thing does not need another news cycle, to be sure. So, how are you?
I'm well. I'm sitting, nice in a chair, not falling over.
Yeah, I had to steal that one from the production room. You're welcome.
Thank you, Brian. No, I'm doing great, man.
80% of new IRS revenue will come from small businesses earning under $200,000. This, according to tax experts. The story per the New York Post. A key provision in the Inflation Reduction Act, which throws an extra $80 billion to the IRS to improve the agency's collection of underreported income, will end up targeting small business owners to pay for the legislation, according to nonpartisan watchdog, the Joint Committee on Taxation. The group estimates that between 78 and 90% of the estimated additional $200 billion the IRS will collect will come from small businesses making less than $200,000 annually. All right, before we get into the ramifications of what they're doing on the tax front, can we not talk about that number of small businesses being created? That number of folks who, since the pandemic, have said peace out to their boss, going to do their own thing. They're not earning major dollars here within their business, but they are starting to put a little footprint down. What does that tell you about the nature of where we are?
It tells us that these people are tired of working for someone who doesn't maybe have their best interest at heart, and they recognize that and said, you know what, now's the time. A lot of people we talked about during COVID where they said, look, we think we can do either A, it better, or B, I want to try something entirely different.
Yeah.
We're shut down. We are not in the normal way of life. I'm working at home. I'm tired of it. I want to do something else. Or maybe they got a little bit of extra cash in their pocket from being sent whatever was sent via stimulus, and so they say, I'm going to take the plunge now.
Okay, that part, the back part of that is the part that everybody keeps saying, but, well, and maybe this is like the difference between being a father of three and being mid-20s and not having a ton of responsibility as far as financial responsibility is concerned, because my money went quick, dude.
Yeah, well, and I don't think it's just those in their 20s. I think it's some people that maybe have been living on a very tight budget, and when they had that extra cash influx, they said, you know what, I'm going to do something.
So are we just now seeing the ramifications of things that were done a year ago? I guess it's a better way to ask that.
Absolutely. I think it takes time to put anything into place for a business, and a year is proof in the pudding that they're now up and doing something, which turns out that sometimes not everybody really knows the tax code to the fullest extent.
Right.
Not even your normal CPA knows the fullest extent of the tax code. There's just so much there to unpack that over the years they started making money, and they were just bringing money in, sending money out, maybe not accounting for everything correctly, and now some of that's going to come back around via what we're seeing now with the IRS hiring more people to do just that.
I find it alarming that they're on this trail, on this scent, if you will.
They have been on the scent since they sent the first stimulus check.
Yeah.
They got to recoup the cash they sent out some kind of way.
Right, because the government's always going to get their taste.
Oh, yeah.
The government in every scenario is Don Fanucci, and if you're not kicking up, then he's coming after you.
And they...
That's a Godfather 2 reference. I'm sorry. I know you haven't seen any of them.
Back a little bit.
It's all right.
But I saw an article yesterday.
No, Godfather 2 is pretty well known. I don't need to apologize. It's in the American Film Institute's top 5, man. I shouldn't have to apologize for that when it's not obscure. That's on you.
Fine, I'll add that to the list.
There you go.
But I saw an article the other day that said, the IRS got $800 million out of the most recent Mega Millions jackpot.
Yeah.
Now, it's not entirely true the way it's broken up, but the point was there. The IRS gets their share in everything regardless of what happens.
Right.
They're going to get paid first.
Right.
And
How would that feel? You pull a ticket that pays $1.28 billion, and you're like, I'll take home a third. Thank you very much.
I still don't think the person was too upset about walking in with $430-something million. Free and clear.
It depends on perspective, really. Okay,
my perspective is that's a lot of money.
If I walk up and tell you just got $400 million, you're happy. If I walk up and tell you just lost $800 million, you're not.
If I didn't have any of that to begin with. But anyways,
besides
the point, yes, the IRS has started cracking down since they shelled out a bunch of cash to everybody. We've seen in our industry a lot less forgiving of late penalties and interest and everything. We know we typically can write a letter and request abatement and forgiveness. Now they are, outside of being 2 years backlogged, they're not even going to open the piece of mail at this point.
So, not to make this segment political, because this segment's supposed to be about business,
Right.
But if we can go back to all the promises of not taxing anybody, not raising taxes on anybody except for the wealthiest 1% out there, I guess we can flush that down the toilet now.
I'm gonna put the quote from the article and that the White House refused to acknowledge some of this stuff. We'll leave it at that.
I'll quote the executive vice president of the National Taxpayers Union Foundation. The IRS will have to target small and medium businesses because they won't fight back.
Yeah. They're going after those that don't have the legal or the accounting people in their pocket to help them resolve things. And so when you get a letter in the IRS, the first thing you think is, oh, they're going to come and take my house.
Hey,
let me go ahead and pay it.
Before we get to break, and we got more to talk about when we come back from break, and we're going to dive into a couple of things that if you're starting a small business, what you need to be in on, what every small business should be in on when it comes to your first year financial goals. We'll talk about that after the break. But we got 2 minutes till break. I want to ask you this question. It's from a CPA's perspective.
Yeah.
And we should have done this last week as we were ramping up towards the $1.28 billion. From a taxpayer's perspective, or from a taxing perspective, annuity or payout on the Mega Millions?
Payout.
Why?
You think they're still going to be viable in 20 years? Take the cash while they can.
Assuming they're viable in 20 years, does it remain the same?
No, because I think you can make a little bit larger of a profit when you take that and invest it in different options than they would pay you.
You're moving money over sooner.
You're moving money and you're controlling the investment instead of waiting for them to just send you a check every year.
Right. Okay. I mean, the end of the day, it's shut up and take your money. Quit your bitching. Yeah, I get that end of it. I'm just saying, in order if good old Uncle Sam is gonna bleed a turnip to get from a small business owner, then darn it, if I'm the Mega Millions winner, then I'm gonna bleed that same turnip to get every nickel I can out of it. No, it's one of those ones that everybody looks at it through the perspective of if you're setting up the trust and do I really want, and the viability of the program long term remains in there as well. But I've always wondered about, like, are you banking on taxes being higher next year or lower next year? If you're at a time where, like, let's say there's a Republican administration and you feel like taxes are lower now than they're going to be under the next guy, then you take the payout.
At the end of the day, your highest tax bracket at 37%. When you're at that income level, I mean, you've got to start shelling out a lot of cash to get anything remotely lower to get to that bracket, just because of how the tiers are.
Gotcha. All right, let's take a quick break. He's Patrick Grimion, host of the Patty G Show, joins us every Thursday to talk business and business culture, and that conversation will continue after Your Money Now and Traffic right here on Talk 107.3 FM.
Yeah, I'm not relying on them to be solvent in the next 20 years. Heck no.
Why?
Because
I am.
So that's my first reasoning. Second reasoning, I can take that and make a much higher return over the next 20 years than they could, because it's going to be set.
That's the better reasoning to me.
So they're going to put that money in either a bank account or they're going to invest it in something and earn interest. So they're going to be continuously earning money on all that. And I would rather be earning money on all that.
For me, I feel like they will always be solvent, and here's why. Remember two things.
Hope and a dream?
Hope and a dream is one thing, and the house always wins is the other.
Well, I mean, think about it. The cash payout was $600 or $700 million.
7 and change.
Set 7 and change.
Yeah.
So they kept the difference. They pay taxes on the difference, but they kept the difference. So the IRS didn't get all 800. They didn't get the whole 500 million or whatever. They didn't get the 800 million.
Right.
That didn't go to the IRS. They kept that within their organization. So yeah, they do have some solvency that will last in perpetuity. But I'd rather take that 430 million and
bird in the hand
and invest it.
Bird in the hand for sure. Absolutely.
In 20 years, if you don't triple your money,
yeah,
what are you doing?
No, totally. And they're not paying taxes on it at the same rate that you would have paid taxes on it because you've got added things like windfall and luxury taxes that pile on top of just the income, and there's just.
And you're going to be taxed at 37%, even if they start paying you the annuity, just because of the size of the annuity.
Which is why the first thing you do if you win is you hire an attorney and a CPA to form a trust.
And you don't accept. No, I would form. I have the whole thought of how do you accept it, and the first thing is not accepting it in Louisiana.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But you're a Louisiana resident. Purchase your ticket in Louisiana.
It's a bearer bond. Doesn't matter where you purchase it.
Really?
So even if you buy the ticket and you leave it on the table.
Do we? Where's traffic at?
Well, we're in a temper traffic. I was going to go to the report, but
We're a minute away from the report. We're a full minute away.
I'm Alondra Villarreal in the Guaranty Media Traffic Center, brought to you by Shawbills, where you can get a free T-shirt with the purchase of any 4 new tires.
Don't forget your new free T-shirt.
Yeah,
right.
My T-shirt. No, so if you buy your ticket and you don't sign it when you buy it, and you leave it on the table here, I can take that ticket, and if it wins,
that part I knew.
It's my ticket.
Yeah.
So it's a bearer bond, meaning I can go to a different state that doesn't require disclosure of where and whom won. That way you don't get hit up from everybody and their mother, and all these news articles start coming out at you and talking about you, and then you get put in a light, and you end up with the other 90% of lottery winners bankrupt. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you. Sorry, everybody. Little sneezy sneeze. Little fit. That actually sounded good. Better lucky than good, kid. Yeah. I'll get Alondra back for that. That's I've got interviews that I'm recording for later on in the week. Emily Pendergrass is an actress on the show Veep, and Maria Manzano, I think. Sophia Manzano, sorry, not Maria. Sophia. She plays Maria on Guess What? Guess where she plays Maria? This is the most. If you could pick the most obscure celebrity interview to land.
I have no idea.
She's been on this show for over 30 years.
That doesn't help me.
No, Grey's Anatomy's old. I don't think it's 30 years old.
Simpsons?
No. No, it's not a cartoon. No.
30 years?
Think of children's programming.
Barney?
She's Maria on Sesame Street.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start with a... You start with a trust for yourself, then you get a trust for all your kids, then you get several businesses opened, you get about 20 bank accounts that have high FDIC insurance levels.
That's an overlooked part of the whole scenario. The Godfather.
You're going to come in with an accent?
I think it's genius, Cade, but it's lost on him. $6:52 at Talk. I was debating to do the voice or not. $6:52.
You should have done the voice. We were both waiting.
You can act like a man. $6:52 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Patrick Grimmy on every Thursday to talk a little business. We were talking going into the break about the government getting a taste. Yeah, Not unlike The Godfather, which you heard coming back in. All right, we're going to shift gears here. A lot of comments coming back in on the YouTube live stream. You can follow us on YouTube. It's Mornings with Brian Haldane. We're there live every morning. A couple comments I want to touch in on about the lottery and the Mega Millions. It's amazing. It was like a one-off at the end of the topic, right?
Yeah.
Just a one-off question at the end, and that's Troy says, lottery winner, are you going to be viable in 29 years? Always take the money and enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I get it. I get it.
It's burn a hand's worth two in a bush.
That's well, I said that during the break. But yes, Galen says, I would never want to be a creditor to anyone given the $500 million payout. Right? It's true, though. Yeah, everything else is tilting at windmills, if I can use that expression, if I can quote Cervantes. Can I do that? No. No Don
Sure.
Quixote on a Thursday morning? All right, fine. We got more to cover. What was
Where's
the
he
other
from?
one?
Shreveport?
Don Quixote? Man, he's from Shreveport. 15 essential financial goals that every business should achieve in its first year. Let's break this down. I love when we do this. Every time you find a list and send it over, we have fun with it. This one's coming from Forbes.
And there's some, I don't think we have time to get to all of them, but there are some in there that are absolutely critical.
Well, the first one is probably the most critical, okay?
100%.
And this one I could speak to from experience. Separating the owner's business and personal finances.
100%.
Okay. The message from Ghostbusters was, don't cross the streams.
Absolutely. I know that reference.
Yeah. Glad you got something out of you this morning. The one foundational task every business owner should complete is separating their business finances from their personal ones. Many small business owners don't even know if they're succeeding or failing when their finances are commingled. They think that they're doing well, only to realize too late that they were accidentally shoring up their business with their personal emergency fund. For me, it's the other way around. For me, it's a matter of...
You're fluffing your personal books from your business?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit. If, so the office is the home, right? So if I have to call a plumber to fix the shower, that's a business expense, is it not?
No.
Why not?
Because
it's the office.
The whole house is the office?
I'm supposed to have an office without a bathroom?
Well, the home office deduction is limited to the room that can be closed off and sealed off with no personal items within the home. So if your kid comes and plays
No,
there with
my
a toy,
my kid's Legos are all over the place.
Technically, from the IRS standards, that's
I don't know. Jay Ducote's
muddying up the water.
Jay Ducote's personal toys are all over the shelf right here. They don't booze it up the way they booze it up without these. So
that's part of his business operation.
Mm-hmm. Well, so are Legos.
But yeah, so something like that, an easy step would be to just open up a business checking account.
Yeah.
Or just another checking account.
So we have that as well. Got that as well.
That's super simple, and you can keep track of your business income and expenses that way. Whereas if you only have one account and you're paying for everything out of that one account, it's going to get really muddy really fast.
Yes, and that's the part that shocks me, that people would take it to that level. You got to have an account that's just for the business so you can see what you've earned. First of all, that gets lost in the wash if it's mixed in with your, because a lot of these businesses are starting off as a side hustle, right?
Yeah, and then you end up losing out on some expenses because when you're going through your credit card statement, you don't know if the Amazon purchase was personal or for business, and it takes time to go back and track everything. Whereas if you got a business card, keep everything nice, neat, and clean, and it also makes tax time a whole lot easier.
Growing your net cash flow is a no-brainer. We will move to articulating and solving a specific problem.
Yes, with so many people wanting to go and take that entrepreneurial leap, as the other article was mentioning, all the new businesses under 200,000, people are trying to get out there and do something unique and went on their own. You've got to figure out what makes you special.
One of the questions I get asked most frequently in this business, one of the things that people hit me with on a regular basis, I want to start a podcast.
Yeah,
everybody wants to start a podcast, right?
They're the next best thing since sliced bread.
And I always ask, what do you want to say?
Yeah.
I got a lot I want to talk about. Okay, what? Specifically. Articulate and solve a specific problem. If you can't tell me specifically what you're talking about, if you're just flinging you-know-what at the wall to see what sticks, you're going to fail. And take it a step further than that, I always tell everybody, do you have 50 episodes in your mind right now? You don't have to have a full 50. If you can get close, you're good.
Well,
But
it depends on your style of show, though. So, for example, if you've already got a name and you've already got a brand, you can just start throwing stuff up and see what sticks.
Okay, but if you're
you
not
don't,
Joe Rogan,
yeah, you need some content beforehand.
Right.
You need some type
well,
of structure.
but everybody wants to start a podcast about something.
Yeah.
Like, but you have to know, like, what's my niche?
Yeah,
nobody's listening just because you feel like you're interesting. What's your niche? Where you're going? What's the problem you're solving? Back to the list. Making the first sale. Come on, that's easy. It's not easy
to make
no,
your
no,
first
no, no, no,
sale.
no. Let me rephrase. It's not easy to make your first sale. It's easy to know that's the goal. It's one of the things that every business needs to achieve.
Well, and it's how to achieve it. Last week's episode of the Patty G Show with Matt Valiolahi from Southern Marsh, he talks about his first commercial sale and had no idea what he was doing.
Yeah.
He pretty much told the vendor, "What do you want to pay me?"
Hey, was that episode kind of special for you because you used to be in the T-shirt biz?
It was, and we actually talked about 8 years ago about getting started, so it was nice to make full circle.
Very nice, very nice. Establishing a repeat client, that's every bit as important as making your first sale. Hiring a actually, look, we're going to move on because there's just not enough time. We'll continue this part on YouTube. Hiring a financial expert, that's a big step that takes not only foresight, but humility.
That's why I got into accounting.
Yeah.
To be able to help the entrepreneurs getting started with managing their money, even if in a small sense of, let's get you a business bank account, let's get you an Excel spreadsheet, let's start tracking some stuff. We don't have to be overly landish and you spend thousands and thousands of dollars on software. Just use Excel.
Right.
I've created a template that I send out to people starting new businesses within the firm that it's automatically populating everything, and it just helps them out.
We're going to continue this on YouTube as we get into CBS News at the top of the hour. In the meanwhile, what's on the Patty G Show this week?
Cade of Pro Limo.
Really?
Really.
Okay.
We talk about transportation. We also talk about eating dinner next to Jesus at some local restaurants here.
Eating dinner next to Jesus.
That's how she describes some restaurants in Baton Rouge. The ambiance, the food.
She's got to be talking about Rocco's.
You got to check it out.
Patty G Show, you know where to find it. Everywhere you get your podcast and right here in the Saturdays on Demand lineup. He's Patrick Grimion. Appreciate it, bub.
Thank you, Brian.
Absolutely. We've got the CBS World News Roundup coming your way on Talk 107.3. Did I not have an ID there? Okay, well, then we're going to be 5 seconds over. All right. Please tell me your mic is on and YouTube can hear you say that. Holy shit, that's funny. Okay. Establishing a repeat client. This is one that I've seen entrepreneurs struggle with because one of the biggest reasons to get into entrepreneurship is you're leaving behind the world of putting up with shit you shouldn't have to put up with. But at the end of the day, no matter what business you're in, it's not about you. This is Joe Dirt.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's about the customer. So no matter what business you're in, you're going to have a certain level of that. And to get yourself to the level where you can fire customers, you have to just slog through years and piles of shit to get there.
I saw a quote that said, "The grass may be always greener on the other side of the fence, but why aren't you worrying about fertilizing and watering your own yard?"
Right. If the grass is greener on the other side, it's someone's going to have to go cut it real soon.
Yeah.
So that also is a pain in the ass. Establishing a repeat client is unbelievably important, and it's oftentimes going to be something that is going to be frustrating on many, many levels.
100%. And you end up like, not to be crass, you end up like you feel like you got to chase a bunch of tail when you got something great at home.
Tails.
You got to chase numerous tails all the time when you're
Right.
like, but the first one is sitting there going,
Chasing
"I wanna
tail
come back."
means something completely different, Patrick.
No, that's how I meant it.
You meant it like that? Chasing skirt.
Yeah. You're always after
Well,
hopping
then-
from one to the other.
Ah, look at Alex Jones! Make the freaking frogs gay! Sorry.
But yeah, I mean I just locked in a year-long sponsor for the show, and it's like now I've got that repeat customer I've got to continuously service and keep a good relationship with while still trying to find somebody else. No, not a new one. An existing one we
Okay.
signed on. They did an initial 6 months, and then they're like, all right, we want to do another 6. I said, well, not 12. Come on. We could change the message. I said, we could change the message as we go.
So,
they said, all right, you got it.
yeah. All right, I need water because my heart's palpitating.
Palpitating?
Pa, 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 pa.
Yes, palpitating is the correct word. But yeah, no, at this point, and the way that the IRS gets you is they know roughly what it will cost somebody to resolve a tax matter. So they put the bill right at or right below that cost. And ultimately, if somebody gets a letter in the mail and it's $80, $75 for penalties or whatever that, like, is just stupid, I'm like, I'm going to have to end up charging you more to fight this. Just pay it. And they know that. So that's where they're hitting. They're finding that number. And
We need someone who's financially independent, is willing to do all the work pro bono.
Yeah.
That's Sonny Bono.
I mean, and there are some times where I'm like, all right, here's a template that we use. Change information here. Go ahead. I'm not
Right.
Gonna, I'm not going to.
But there's a lot of.
But there's a lot that. And then, dude, they start getting. They used to not be as harsh and burying as they are right now. I mean, like, they are getting anyone and everyone. If you're 2 days late payment penalty.
Yeah.
We got our money, but it was late.
Right. That's like being charged with 1,000 different crimes, and then the only thing you're convicted of is lying on the stand. Well, you couldn't prove anything else, but I said October 14th one day and said October 21st the next because I had the wrong. Yeah. So you lied under oath. You're going to jail.
Mm-hmm. They want to get you for something.
why
They
Jim
don't,
Brown
they
went
don't
to
care
jail.
what the something is.
Right. That's why Jim Brown went to jail.
Anywho, I got to go fight another day.
All right,
See
bro.
you, man.
Later on.
Y'all have a good rest of your day.
You
Have a
too.
weekend. I'm here next week, but the week after,
Okay.
I'm out.
Okay. Wow. She's blaming Taylor for traffic on bad days? Dude, don't sweat it, man. We're fine. My pencil has disappeared again. Yep. Yesterday morning was a huge washout. What about today? Let's check in with WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo.
The risk of heavy rain and flooding continues today. The weather setup is very similar to what we saw yesterday, though there may be some tweaks in the timing. By late morning, we'll likely see some storm cells setting up, and wherever they do, those areas will be most at risk for flooding. Stay connected to the storm station. In the event there is flooding, make sure you have a way to see warning information. A flash flood warning was issued several times yesterday, and it's possible they could be reissued again today for your area. Again, stay connected and stay weather aware.
.706 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Going to take on a little bit of an educational theme in this hour. I shouldn't say a theme. Dr. Cade Brumley, State Superintendent of Education, slated to join us in our next segment. In the 8 o'clock hour, Ken Campbell, the head of New Schools for Baton Rouge, I believe also a doctor, going to join us as well. So we're talking back to school a couple times throughout the morning this morning. We've also got Lieutenant Don Coppola coming in for Crimestoppers later on. Right now, though, actually 60 seconds from now, we got Top Stories and Trending. Before we get you there, let me remind you that Top Stories and Trending is brought to you every day by the folks over at St. James Place. You know, St. James Place, I love the campus. I love where they're at. Their location is fantastic. It's kind of as sprawling and beautiful as it is. It's actually kind of hidden off of Lee right there by Highland. But when you're a little bit hidden, there's some misconceptions that need to be debunked. One of those misconceptions is I'm too young to be at St. James Place. Well, if you're moving into your retirement years, if you're looking at opening that chapter, you're not too young to be there. Look, a lot of folks think, nursing home. No, full, all-inclusive life plan community. Yes, they've got nursing care, but before you get to that, you could put yourself on a path to where you're going to be taken care of at every step along the way. If you're approaching retirement, if you're approaching your 70s, yeah, it's time to start thinking about this. Time to start looking at, I'm going to be on a fixed income. Where can I go where I know what my bills are going to be every month? And when I say know what my bills are going to be, I don't just mean the lights and the heat. I mean everything all the way down to the food. Check them out online, stjamesplace.org, stjamesplace.org, or give them a call at 215-4500 when you're looking at opening up that next chapter of your life. St. James Place is a heck of an option. Live life well at St. James Place. All right, time for top stories and trending. Let's roll. A mother was reported to state child services at least 3 times before her 2-year-old son died from an apparent fentanyl overdose. Arrest documents from the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office outlined 2 previous instances where 28-year-old Whitney Ard brought her unresponsive toddler to a hospital before the child died on June 26th. Ard was booked on Tuesday on a charge of negligent homicide after law enforcement investigated her son's death. On the day of his death, arrest records said the child, identified as Mitchell Robinson III, was rushed to the hospital by ambulance from their Donova Street home. East Baton Rouge coroner Bo Clark called it a, quote, significant failure from a third report was sent to DCFS after the toxicology results from one of the hospital visits showed fentanyl in the boy's system. That being said, let's walk you right up to story number 4. Public outrage is boiling over as people are asking how a mother was able to keep custody of her son after she was reported to state child services at least 3 times before her 2-year-old died on June 26th. With the mother being held without bond for negligent homicide, our news partners at WBRZ have dug into whether or not anybody at DCFS will be charged. Quote, it depends on what they failed to do and whether they failed to do it intentionally or not, explained Hiller Moore of the East Baton Rouge District Attorney, or he is the East Baton Rouge District Attorney. Those details remain under investigation, but it is unlikely that an employee with DCFS will be charged with a crime. By the way, we talked about that subject at length in our Legally Served segment yesterday, which is available on demand at talk1073.com. Also via yesterday's show on YouTube, Mornings with Brian Haldane. You can pull up yesterday's show and dig right in. With heavy rain causing many streets in East Baton Rouge to flood Wednesday morning, commuters might have been better off in a boat than a car. We had a lot of places throughout the parish, mostly in the western parts of the parish, some in the southwest, where we had a lot of rain that exceeds our design standards from a rainfall event. Director of Transportation and Drainage Fred Rayford said, here's the long and the short of it. More than 4 inches of rain fell on the city in a matter of hours. More than enough to overwhelm a properly functioning drainage system, which was only designed to withstand 2 inches of rain per hour when they're completely clean. Now, they've been working on the backlog of cleanup, which seems like a perpetual process at this point. But Rayford says despite their constant work to clear out those drains, the city parish is always playing catch-up. A number of the usual suspects flooded yesterday. We heard about Acadian Thruway Underpass, Governor's Mansion Curve on 110, North Boulevard near 22nd, a number of spots on Nicholson on the way to campus, and a few more. By the way, anyone who experiences flooding on the roads or near their home is urged to report the issue to 311 immediately. A man was arrested Wednesday after deputies investigated a tip that he was sharing child porn through Snapchat. According to arrest reports, East Baton Rouge deputies found 24-year-old Corey Cotton had multiple pictures and videos of young girls performing sex acts on adult males on a Snapchat account registered to his name. Cotton was booked for 20 counts of pornography involving juveniles and 20 counts of computer-aided solicitation of a minor. Police were called to a hospital to investigate a patient who said they had been shot early Wednesday morning. According to the BRPD, The victim reported he had been shot around 1:30 a.m. in the 4600 block of Sycamore Street off of North Foster Drive. The victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries, and this investigation continues. Those are your top stories. Here's a look at what's trending. Hey, Cade.
Yes, Brian.
Do you know the shark-alligator rule?
Say it again?
Do you know the shark-alligator rule?
No.
Okay, so if there's a shark or an alligator story that's out there,
You got to read it?
I got to read it. I am required by the rule. It's in the charter. It's in the charter.
Are you talking about the one that on land?
No. The sharks can walk now? No, because I don't think that one's real.
Oh,
this one
fake
comes
news.
to us from New Orleans, or the New Orleans area.
Lots
The
of sharks.
GNO, as it were. The greater New Orleans area. Louisiana's Lake Pontchartrain is known for having sharks. But on Monday, a fisherman caught a surprisingly large bull shark, and he wants people to be aware of the lake's dangers. Quote, I actually play the Jaws theme song when I fish, said fisherman Joseph Rohelli, which in Godfather standards is better than saying a Hail Mary. I got Fredo. Bull shark, no spoilers. Bull sharks are one of the most aggressive and unpredictable types of sharks. Rohelli caught his human-sized bull shark along the seawall in Lake Pontchartrain, which spans about 630 square miles, the lake does, not the seawall, and is about 12 to 14 feet deep. City of New Orleans lies along its southern and eastern shores of Lake Pontchartrain. We all know this. Now, sharks are common in Lake Pontchartrain because they swim in from the Gulf. That's not unusual. Seeing a shark is not what surprised Rohelli. Its size did. About 5.5 to 6 feet long was this shark. Took about 45 minutes to pull it in. First of all, good on you. If you're pulling in a bull shark, good on you. If you're fishing in Lake Pontchartrain and you have anything that puts up that kind of fight, good on you. By the way, the other surprising note about this story, he went in a boat. He wasn't out in the middle of the lake. Dude was on shore. He's on the seawall.
Sounds like you're trying to swear, but not use the actual
When you
word.
say bull shark?
Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, this whole story is a bunch of bull shark. Anyway, bull sharks, baby. Hey, I was talking to somebody yesterday. We were talking about the salt water pushing back up the Mississippi River right now because the river level's so low. You know what that means. We're going to have more and more shark sightings coming up the Mississippi River. All right, we're late. Quick break. Come back. Dr. Cade Brumley is next. Yep.
Wine, wisdom, and food with Gregory Riggs. Tuesday,
Oh.
or Thursday, August 11th, 6:30, Fleming Steakhouse.
Kevin O'Neill says, good morning. One job I definitely would not want, Fred Rayford. The fact that we haven't cloned him yet is just frustrating. Okay. Yeah, he's always early. Is that him on the phone or is that Dr. Brumley?
Picture this. You're trying to hire someone or buy something and you click on their website, but it takes forever to load and looks, well, horrible. So what do? You probably move on. If you're concerned that just described your website, you should call us. We're Gatorix.
I'm Alondra Villarreal in the Guarantee Media Traffic Center, brought to you by Shaw Bills, where you can get a free t-shirt with the purchase of any 4 new tires with the Tread Booster Plan. All right, good morning, everyone.
A little bit. I do not know, sir. I do not know, sir. All right, moving on. Hey, Cade. 717 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Not sure what happened with that traffic report right there. The audio just bottomed out and disappeared. Huh? It's okay. We'll have another traffic report. It's been a light morning so far this morning. We will have another report for you coming up at 7:33. Right now, let's turn our attention to next week, as it is back to school time. We're quite quickly approaching back to school time. Joining us now is Dr. Cade Brumley, the State Superintendent of Education. Dr. Brumley, welcome back. How are you, man?
Hey, thanks for having me. It is already back to school in some systems across the state where kids have already back in classrooms. But yeah, here locally in Baton Rouge, next week is the week.
I mean, I know you're a big year-round guy, but those poor kids, come on, man.
Well, I would say I'm less a year-round guy and just someone who believes that when children, especially those that have certain levels of circumstances that they need to overcome, have additional time with teachers and the supports that the school provides, it helps them out.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, but no, we have kids back in school in some systems across the state. We're looking forward to a great year.
All right. Well, so mine are back next week, and I just look at things through the lens of if it doesn't affect me, it doesn't exist. How about that? Is it?
Well, I think Brian, your kids are fine. I think that they've been well taken care of over the summer.
I appreciate that greatly. So let's talk about
probably too much so.
Well, let's talk about what we should be doing as parents. What should we be doing in that week or 2 weeks ramping up to school? Because in our house we try to we like summertime to be as lazy as possible, fully rest, get yourself recuperated a little bit, but that ramping back up to where. For lack of a better term, let's make it about sports, having a preseason, if you will, before game time for the first day of school. Like, is there something to that?
Yeah, there's like an excitement of going back, but there's also like it's tiring. You know, your first day back in the groove after you've been off for the summer.
Right.
It's tiring as well. And so you talk to different kids and you hear different emotions. And some kids are ready and some are like, oh, God, do I have to? But different kids are responding in different ways. But I know that I myself am excited to have them back.
No, absolutely. And also speaking as a parent, the routine of school is so much better. It's so much less chaotic. Yes, it's busy, but it's not as chaotic.
Right.
So when
what can parents do though? I mean, I am someone who believes that education is a local enterprise. I mean, I think when decisions are made closest to the kids benefit. Mm-hmm. So what I would suggest just to everyone, and this is common sense, and so I realize I'm not telling people anything they don't know, but I think it's worth saying, and that's just stay connected to your teachers, your child's teachers. Know the teachers, know what's going on. If you ever have challenges, reach out to them, reach out to the principal, stay involved locally. Education really matters, not just for the parents and their child, but obviously for society as a whole.
We're talking with Dr. Cade Brumley, the State Superintendent of Education, as school getting back in some places, about to get back in others. What else are we looking for as the school year approaches? Let's move from the parent side to the school side. What's the ramp-up look like over there?
Well, I mean, there is excitement because yesterday, Brian, I don't know the level of awareness you have or have shared, but we released our statewide assessment results from last spring on LEAP. And as you recall, we had some level of learning loss as a result of the pandemic. But whenever our results came in yesterday, we saw that in comparison to the former academic year, we had 80% of school systems across the state show improvement in the number of kids that had mastered content, 80%. So we're excited about that. We know that in English literacy reading, we saw a 3% increase of kids across the state scoring mastery level on their content, and likewise with math, the same, 3% gains. So teachers and schools and school systems have some degree of wind in their sails right now, with the work that they have done in conjunction with parents over the last year. But we know we have more work to do in a state that has been long challenged educationally. And so we have some momentum right now, and I hope we're able to capitalize on that and just get better for kids.
We're talking with Dr. Cade Brumley, State Superintendent of Education, who just jumped right on it. I had a whole segue planned out, and we're already in it now. No, LEAP scores were where we wanted to go next. So the numbers were up from the previous year, but are the numbers up or down from where we were before the pandemic altogether?
Oh, that's a great question. So we think that we've closed about half the gap,
Okay.
give or take. So, for instance, in English and reading, we believe we dropped about 5 points from the before the pandemic to pandemic impact, and we picked up about 3. In math, we think we dropped about 7 and picked up about 3. So, give or take, about halfway there. Overcoming the learning loss of the pandemic is not something we will do overnight, and I'm especially concerned about our youngest learners. Like, for instance, when school was closed down on Friday the 13th of 2020, those kids in first grade, which is a foundational literacy year, had their school year cut short. And then the next year, as second graders, they had an interrupted year. And last year, there was still some levels of interruption. So foundational literacy years really matter. And so I am most concerned about that cohort of children, and that would be this year's incoming fourth graders. So this year's incoming fourth graders, this year's incoming third graders, I think we just have to be laser focused and deliberate on how we are providing instruction to them, and it has to be based on the science of reading, and we have to make sure that we're offering after-school programs, high-dosage tutoring to those kids to make sure that we can get them back on track.
Talking with Dr. Cade Brumley about the LEAP scores and the rebuilding, if you will, the rallying, if you will, post-pandemic. Dr. Brumley, what aside from just raw numbers, what else are we able to take away from the most recent scores? Are we able to make any other comparisons about schools that did Zoom versus schools that did the take-home stuff? Are we able to determine anything about how people manage the pandemic and its longer-term effects?
Well, a couple of things there. Yes, we are able to tell that. The story is no different than the story last year. The more often that kids were at school, face to face, the better they did, and so that's why I will continue sometimes against adversity to ensure that our kids are in school every day for face to face instruction. Another takeaway, Brian, of an area for opportunity for us is basically every subject area we were able to see growth across the state. So, with the exception of one. So we saw growth in English, math, and science. But the one area we didn't see growth was social studies. So children's knowledge of history and civics and geography and economics. And I was asked, are you surprised about this? And I said, absolutely not. You recall over the last year, we had a number of conversations just about social studies standards in Louisiana and how they were weak, they lacked rigor, teachers didn't have the appropriate resources. And so we began a process this year, and in fact passed a new set of social studies standards that set a higher expectation, and hopefully over the next couple of years, we will see growth in that particular area. But it is something we have to be concerned about because our kids need to know their history. They need to understand their role in society as citizens. So we've got to get better there too.
No, absolutely. And the problem with social studies and the problem with history recently is that it's turned into a political argument. And that doesn't involve your job. Your job is to make sure it's being taught. But how do you, as a former LSU coach used to say, how do you block out the noise and stay focused?
Well, we said what we were going to do, and I think we did it. So we said we wanted to make sure that we added rigor to those standards, and the standard being what a kid is supposed to know and be able to do as a result of instruction. We wanted to add rigor to that. We said that we wanted to teach history in order. So not jump around trying to teach history, but teach it in an order that made sense chronologically. We wanted to incorporate multiple voices and multiple stories to have all the perspectives listed. And we did those things. Now, the standards are in place, but what's not yet in place is the development of a curriculum and the continued training of staff. And, we rejected radical ideologies in this, and we said we're going to focus on a freedom framework. We live in America, it's the greatest country on the face of the earth, but there have been opportunities that haven't been our best days, and we have to always continue to be a more perfect union, and we wanted our kids to understand and appreciate that. And so I think I think beyond a leap score, Brian, like knowing that our kids are going to be in a better position in a few years in classrooms with social studies should be refreshing to all of us.
So what's the next benchmark?
Well, what we have to do, what we have to realize is those standards don't go into effect until a year out. So we have a learning year over this next year. And so that gives us time to train teachers on those standards. It gives publishing companies time to write curriculum. It gives us time to develop assessments to better understand if the kids know the standards. So what we have this next year is the benchmark is, can we have a successful learning and preparation year, readying ourselves for implementation of those quality standards in what would be essentially school year 23-24.
Got a couple of minutes left with Dr. Cade Brumley as we're approaching, if not already into the new school year. Dr. Brumley, last thing before I get you out of here, and it's kind of out of left field, but we are 2 months into hurricane season, and one of the things that you had learned along the way is that we didn't have a full-on plan for managing our schools through hurricane seasons or through disasters within. Where are we at with that as we are, getting into the thick of it?
Yeah, it wasn't just that we didn't have a full plan; we didn't have a plan.
Right.
And so we have taken the time to pull together people from across the state, particularly individuals with expertise in hurricane preparation and response. And they've been working over the last few months as a hurricane commission that we established. And the goal is, within the next few months, we'll have a draft report out that will be a playbook for school systems of how to prepare in the off-season, back to your athletic analogy, in the off-season for a hurricane. And then once one hits, response, all the things that have to happen for an effective, timely, safe response to return kids to school. So within the next few months, we hope to have that draft out. But, it's a safety issue. Another school safety issue that's on top of everyone's mind is just some of the things that we've seen around the country, for instance, in Haldane with the shooting. And so today we're hosting the department's first ever statewide safety summit. So we have nearly 1,000 individuals from across the state coming in today to the River Center here in Baton Rouge, law enforcement, school people, ambulance, fire, and we're going to train together today so that we can be better prepared to make sure that our schools are as safe as they can possibly be.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold after this because I want follow-up on that. I want to get somebody back on tomorrow with kind of a post-mortem on that, kind of recap what went down at the River Center today, because that's big news. We around the state, there are so many different blueprints and maps and campuses and everything. You guys have to face so many different challenges on that front alone. So if I could drop you back on hold. In the meanwhile, thanking you for your time. Thank you so much, Dr. Cade Brumley. Appreciate you hopping on board today. Absolutely.
Yep.
And put him back on hold for 30 seconds until we get the news, which, by the way, that 30 seconds is enough for me to remind you about, have you visited talk1073.com lately? We got our 5K tailgate giveaway going on right now. The folks over at Citizens Bank and Trust have teamed up with us. Look, inflation has hit every aspect of our lives. Coming up in a couple weeks, we don't want inflation to ruin our tailgate. So sign up now at talk1073.com for our 5K tailgate fund presented by Citizens Bank and Trust. Hey, Dr. Brumley? Hey, can I grab... I'll get with Matthew about it later, but would that be cool if I grab somebody for tomorrow morning? Mm-hmm. Do you want to hop back on, or would you have like a point person you think? 7:15 tomorrow. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I keep an old school written calendar rather than digital on my phone like I should in this millennium. But my calendar's upstairs in my office, so let me go make sure. Can you put 17:15 down, and I will make sure it's available, and I'll confirm it back through Matthew later on. Dude, perfect, man. You too. Appreciate it. Bye. Ha! I love when that shit happens. Oh, so good. All right, YouTube. I had notes on my phone, so I wasn't on my phone for that. What are we talking about? What out of that interview made the chat? Let's see. Oh, good morning, Deborah. Deborah Todd says, so they think parents being more involved resulted in higher test scores? The very idea. Could you even imagine? What's happening, brother?
Good morning.
You good?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. What we talk about today? Just catching bad guys?
We can catch bad guys. We can start with the night out against crime. Didn't see there.
When is it?
It was Tuesday.
Well, first of all, I was at the Rougarou game. So it was a night and I was out and I was not committing crime. So I participated.
Good.
Where was the night out against crime?
It was at our headquarters.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was over on, I was just off a plank. So.
And then catch some bad guys, whatever else you want to talk about.
Payment process. If we have time.
We can talk about payment.
If we have time.
Buddy, we can start with that then.
I want to start with the night out against crime.
And then we do the payment thing if you want.
Yeah.
Whatever you want. Hey, buddy, I'm about to jump on a radio interview. Can I hit you right back? All right.
So what did it do last time?
It faded about 10 seconds in.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Because this one's fine. So far.
What a surprise that is.
Are we talking about the woman in Ascension Parish who stole a shitload of TVs? Allegedly.
Yeah, we can. We put that on Facebook.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
We've received. We put two things on it from Ascension. But we can mention. We can mention that. We got a tip on somebody.
Jason says, hope the weather will be more friendly today. Drive safely. Me too, but I'm not holding out a lot of hope.
It wasn't as bad as what they predicted, did it? Was it?
What, yesterday?
Yeah.
Bro, we took 4 inches of rain in 2.5 hours.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Burbank flooded. Nicholson flooded. Nicholson flooded on both sides of campus. Yeah. Yes, the usual suspects flooded yesterday.
Yeah, we can talk about her because the other one was a guy for some burglaries.
Okay.
And then,
Well, I'm going to make fun of her.
That's fine. And then BRPD was looking for the guy in the fatal hit and run crash. We did receive tips, and we believe he's been identified through tips.
Wait, is this guy on Facebook too?
Yeah.
Is this the one? Oh, the next one down?
It,
Outside the car? They're both from Ascension.
right, but the next one.
Oh, the next one after that?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's fatal hit and run.
Yeah, this is a guy that was in a stolen vehicle from Gonzales.
Yeah.
Involved in a crash.
Yep.
Kills the passenger.
Okay, well, I'm not going to make fun of that because it's a
Don't make
serious
fun
story.
of that, but we received tips
Give me one
with
second.
with a possible identity.
Hey, Cade, can you, if you get a chance, pull up Crimestoppers' Facebook page to put the woman from Ascension, put her picture on the big screen. All right. If you can, don't worry about it.
And,
Who's that jerk?
And we do need to do that more. Sometimes I don't have some to the last minute, but I have to confirm them that morning of, which I could send you this stuff.
All right, what's that weather going to look like? Do we have another washout on our hands? Here's WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo.
really want to go? What are you prepared to do? Everything within the law.
As always, if you have information that you think would help solve a crime, call 344-STOP.
All it takes is a phone and an open mind. No one will know. My eyes open now.
It's Crimestoppers on Talk 107.3 FM.
Yes, it is time to catch some bad guys. Yes, it is time for Crime Stoppers. Time to welcome in Lieutenant Don Capola. What's happening, man?
Hey, good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm very, very well this morning. How are you?
I could not be better.
Yeah?
I'm here.
Uh-huh.
It's always great to get these fugitives out, to talk about Crime Stoppers. More importantly, just to have a conversation with you.
I appreciate that greatly.
Well,
I look forward to our time together. I like our little chats.
I do, and I really, it's like I'm missing something, and my day is not complete on Thursdays, not sitting in the seat. So I do my best. Sometimes I have to call in, but
I'm there. You were giving me some to do during the break because I wasn't where I was supposed to be Tuesday night.
And I was, and we looked for you, and actually not just me, but most of the people there were, where's Brian? Where's 107.3?
Yeah, so Tuesday night was Tuesday night was a night out against crime, and it was night, and I was out, and I was very much anti-crime. I just wasn't at the Baton Rouge Police Headquarters.
But let me tell you, for those who were there, I know there was a scare with the weather, but it actually turned out to be great. Cloud cover, it was cool.
It was cool,
and we appreciate all of the participants, the organizers, the vendors. More importantly, the community that came out and visited, received information, had the communication going on, and it was probably one of the biggest yet. Our community services division, the entire division led by Sergeant Belford Johnson did a great job in putting this together. If you're familiar with our headquarters, we have the two big parking lots with a driveway in between going to the garage. Both of those lots were full with,
That's awesome.
with vendors, and we had our law enforcement partners, our federal FBI, DEA, our Louisiana State Police, local East Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office, Central PD, Baker, Constable's Office, LSU PD, and it was just a great event. We had music by Kenny Neal and Chris LeBlanc, and it couldn't be better.
They both put on a hell of a show, and that's why I was a little bit upset that I missed, but I had a good reason. So 2 Fridays ago, I was trying to take a church group that I'm a part of and bring them to a Baton Rouge Rougarou game. Well, 2 Fridays ago, it rained out. Tuesday night was the last home Rougarou game, so if I was going to bring my guys out there, that was the last opportunity to do so.
Okay. But next time we'll plan it. This was an event from 5 to 8, so we'll plan it to make sure you have enough time. And
no, by all means, plan the entire thing around my schedule. So good. We got some bad guys or a bad gal to catch today. And before we get done today, I do want to go over the payment process because it's important that we touch on that every so often.
Yeah, well, now we can do it now. What do you want to do?
No, we got to get to this on the Capital Region Crime Stoppers Facebook page. You have a picture of a woman in a, we'll say, light blue Nautica T-shirt, black hat, sunglasses on top of the hat, rocking a COVID mask, leaving what appears to be a Walmart in Ascension Parish. This woman is accused of stealing multiple televisions from said Walmart. Now, to be fair, she's not holding a TV in these pictures, but this is where we're at right now. I saw the news story with our news partners at WBRZ yesterday. What is the latest here, and what are the details?
So this is an investigation that is out of Ascension Parish, and as you said, this investigators believe that she is connected in some television thefts at a local Walmart. You described it perfectly. These pictures are beautiful, and we're asking anyone to, there it is on the screen, anyone that recognizes her. Either she does have the COVID mask on, but maybe the way she walks, maybe her statute, any information you have, and we have received some anonymous tips. Not sure, I need to follow back up with investigators. This was late last night, but send those tips in if you believe that you recognize this individual. Get us that information. It's be forwarded to investigators, and if your information identifies this person, then you're getting paid. Once investigators go through their process and a warrant is issued, and now they're looking for to find the whereabouts of the said individual, then we're going to put it out again. And if you know a location on her or anyone on our Facebook page or website, you're eligible for a cash reward.
So I might be wrong here, but if I look at this woman, I'm normally thinking you will see her complaining to her son's little league coach that her kid's not getting enough playing time.
And it could be.
That's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing, hey, he doesn't have a single hit on the season, but he's not getting enough playing time. That's what I'm seeing here. I'm seeing her, oddly enough, at an anti-mask rally. That's where I'm seeing this person. She's wearing a COVID mask in the picture, which, and if I could offer up a quick tip, if you're wearing a ball cap and a COVID mask and you've got sunglasses on top of your hat, go ahead and put the sunglasses on. If you're looking to duck the cameras, fully duck the cameras. Commit to the bit is what I'm saying here. If you're going to be stealing TVs, which, by the way, check out her Facebook Marketplace. That's where they're going to pop up in very short order. Hey, if you're going to be stealing TVs, go ahead and commit to the bit. Also, the Nautica T-shirt, 2004 called and would like to have its T-shirt back. Okay? No, I get it. There was a sale at Marshall's. I understand. But this woman right here, she is the full package, Don.
Nope, not this one.
Well, no.
So, and again, as you mentioned, the COVID mask, and throughout COVID, and COVID is very real and very serious, and the mask, still people wear. It makes it a little more difficult to investigators.
Yes.
But that's why we rely on the community. Someone knows her.
Mm-hmm.
Someone needs to call in. This is who this is. This is where they are, as they do all the time.
So I can make jokes about it all day long. Okay, and that's all fine and good. But seriously, with the COVID mask, that has made things infinitely more difficult over the last 2.5 years. People have, I don't want to say picked up on it, but it's harder to recognize who that is with just that little slit of eyes. That's it.
It is, but you look at her features, her statue, somebody's going to recognize her.
Oh, absolutely.
So we need that individual or individuals to pick up the phone, go to the P3 app, go to our website, let us know who that is. We can get the information to investigators in Ascension so they could follow up. They could continue their investigative process, and if that information assists them, that tipster is getting paid.
Got one more. This one coming from BRPD, and we'll move on from this one. The next one's a lot more serious, so I'm not going to completely. I'm not going to make fun of it. We're looking for somebody involved with a fatal hit and run investigation, and this was a story that we were all over. Was it? I want to say it was late last week, if I'm not mistaken. No, it was earlier this week.
It was August 1st.
Yeah, which would have made it Monday. Baton Rouge traffic homicide investigators were looking out for this guy. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, so on August 1st, around 10:10 in the morning, investigators were called to the 4600 block in North Street regarding a motor vehicle accident, crash, involving a Chevrolet pickup truck and a Ford Explorer. This individual, pictured investigators believe, that was driving the Chevrolet truck reported stolen out of Gonzales Police Department when it collided with a Ford Explorer. After the collision, the driver, this individual pictured, fled without stopping to offer any assistance to the occupants of the Ford. They had a passenger in the Ford, Ms. Deidre Marshall, that was transported to a local hospital, serious injuries, and she unfortunately later succumbed to those injuries at a local hospital. So, again, Baton Rouge Police are looking for this individual. We have received several tips. We are just waiting for confirmation once they finish their investigative process to learn if a tip helped assist with this. And then, of course, through that process, once we get word that a warrant has been obtained or whatever action from there, we'll put that out to see if anybody is familiar with this individual's whereabouts. So it's a sad situation. Stolen vehicle out of Gonzales, a crash, flees on foot without offering any assistance, and unfortunately, a life was lost in this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it was, as the tips come in, and it is reassuring that tips continue to come in. As the tips come in, though, the funnel kind of narrows, and you get closer and closer to pinning this down. I can't imagine this guy sitting still for too long.
No, and with the great picture and the investigative work that these men and women do, along with the community, calling in the Crimestoppers, knowing that, hey, I know I'm safe because it's anonymous. I know that I'm not going to fear any retaliation because they don't know who I am.
Right.
We just want that information to lead to the identification and/or arrest of an individual.
Yeah, and you do remain 100% anonymous, and we can't reiterate that enough. That is a point that we hit on every single week. Next week,
Brian, the Crimestoppers here has been around 40 years.
Right.
Okay, this is a national and worldwide program, so no one's identity has been compromised.
Right.
It's very simple. Just get us the information.
It is a remarkable system. The fact that that you do remain anonymous, and the fact that they're still batting 1,000 when it comes to that anonymity, are both remarkable. 344-STOP is the phone number. 344-STOP to call Crimestoppers. Check out the Capital Region Crimestoppers Facebook page, as they have photos of just about everybody they're looking for. The two that we talked about today, both of them, their pictures are two of the last three on the page. And don't forget to download the P3 app as well. In the meanwhile, he's Lieutenant Don Capola. We do Crimestoppers at this time every week. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, and have a great day.
You do the same. All right, time for us to catch your money now. We'll catch traffic, then we'll step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish for the Outside In next. Yep. We can do payment process next week. That's fine. So, yeah, this story. Man. Dealing with the weather all day long, I understand. Originally, it was supposed to be a Friday, and you do it on a work night instead. I understand, but yeah. Okay. Well, it's midday, so it was always Clarence's show. So yeah. So we'll figure something out. Yeah. Maybe a YouTube broadcast. Yeah. So we'll do it, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah. No. So yeah, there's some stuff going on. We can talk about it another time once she gets back. And Condon's got COVID this week. Yeah, he just got back from London too. So, yeah. All right, thank you. It's a little both. Also, I'm remarkably loud.
During these uncertain financial times, gold and silver are always a good investment. Now's a good time to join Pelican Silver. Pelican Silver members have access to purchase high-quality gold and silver with
You can't just throw that out there and not have backstory to it. Come on down to Happy Town. First of all, it sounds like innuendo. Secondly, nobody knows what the bleep you're talking about. Well, if I hear come on down to Happy Town, I'm not thinking about buying a used car. Yeah, no. .755 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Thanks again to Lieutenant Don Capola for stopping in for Crimestoppers. I always like catching a couple bad guys if we can during that segment. And no shortage of who is it? Galen says, what is with Gonzales area retailers, Lowe's, Walmart, etc., can't keep their stock in control? You know, I don't know, man. It's just walking out the front door. So I made a joke about posting it up on our Facebook marketplace, right? But I should have asked Don while he was in here how often they're able to catch people via that. Like if you're dumb enough, brazen enough to walk out of a Walmart, not once, not twice, but multiple times, hauling off TVs. Like if you're brazen enough to do that, would you just go ahead and put it up on your Facebook marketplace to turn it over? Like, or I mean, it's possible they're using them for home use.
Could they put it up and say, I got a couple of Walmart TVs for sale?
Right. I think they would do that. Like, who's going to catch him? Who's going to catch me? It's Facebook. There's 1 billion people on here. They're going to narrow it down on me? Drop it up on Facebook Marketplace. Maybe put it over on Nextdoor. Put it on the Nextdoor app. Oh. I can see it happening. And in the meanwhile, speaking of the Gonzales area, every day at this time we step outside of East Baton Rouge Parish to check in on our surrounding areas. That brings us around to the outside in. Oh, we're going to start off in West Baton Rouge Parish. A Port Allen police officer is currently on leave after he was arrested in Baton Rouge for robbery and criminal damage to property. According to reports, Port Allen police officer Zach Sibley was arrested on July 30th by BRPD for starting a fight in the parking lot of a Tigerland bar. Arrest documents said Sibley walked up to two people waiting in line at a food truck around 2:45 a.m. after the bar had closed, obviously. Sibley allegedly told the pair he wanted a gold chain that was around one of the people's necks and started the fight. During the argument, by the way, Sibley did rip off the gold chain. During the argument, he pulled out a Port Allen police badge and identification card. Documents said he and 3 to 4 others followed the victims to an apartment on Lee Drive and started a brawl in the parking lot there. Port Allen Police Chief Corey Hicks said Sibley was immediately placed on administrative leave without pay until an investigation into the incident is complete. Keeping it in West Baton Rouge, investigators believe a man was stabbed to death after a woman who was later killed showed up at his front door looking for help. This takes us all the way back to March 27th. West Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office said 58-year-old Kevin Craig was booked on charges of home invasion and domestic abuse battery. August 4th, a grand jury Wait, that's today. A grand jury upgraded Craig's charges to 2 counts of second-degree murder. 66-year-old Robert Washington was found dead inside his home on Lukeville Lane late Sunday morning. Relatives said they went looking for Washington after he didn't show up at church. Upgraded the charges is the new part of that story. Heading over to Ascension Parish, firefighters say a disabled homeowner who was confined to her living room died after her house caught fire last week. The flames were reported on July 27th at the intersection of Catalpa and DeVille Circle. Once inside the house, first responders found the body of a woman believed to be the 65-year-old resident, State Fire Marshal's office said at the time. On Wednesday, the agency said the woman was bedridden in her living room where firefighters found her body. Investigators said the fire seemingly started in the back room of her home, though the exact cause remains under investigation, as is the cause of the woman's death. Closing out in Lafayette, the Lafayette Parish Council met Tuesday night. That meeting led to questions from Councilman Glenn Lazard regarding Josh Guillory's availability. Guillory recently checked himself into rehab for alcoholism. Lazard says it all depends on the definition of availability. The definition that was put on, he thinks everyone has read it, says he's available and they should have access to him. Lazard thinks access brings up a number of questions as well. That is it's really kind of unprecedented what they're doing in Lafayette right now with Josh Guillory's situation. That's the outside in. Let's get you to CBS News on Talk 107.3. Because I'm out here grinding. All right, I'm going to find a pencil. Oh, there it is. Oh, brand new one. Byron says, is it cool to wear Nautica anymore? Good thing I have my Nickelback t-shirt collection to fall back on. I don't know, man. I just want to go back to the old Nautica cologne. Right? It's better than Polo Sport. Oh. Hmm. Have I had other libraries in there? No, it's no biggie. All right, I'll knock out Louisiana beef here.
Okay, like I said, it must be our lucky day. Maybe I'm the good luck charm. There's seriously not a lot going on the roads right now. Like, traffic is pretty good right now. I'm stunned.
Okay, she's gonna record a new one every time if it's gonna be that.
Except for a traffic crash on Perkins and College, but it is off the roadway. BRP is on the scene, so it should be cleared up there soon. It's not causing too much of a delay. Taking a look at some drive times. Highland to the Mississippi River Bridge is 18 minutes, and still a little bit of congestion on I-12 West. Your drive time from Juban to the 10-12 split is at 25 minutes. That's the latest from the Guarantee Media Traffic Center. I'm Alondra.
Hey, there he is. Yep. Looking at more rain in the forecast today to determine how much. Here is WBRZ meteorologist Marissa Nuzzo.
The risk of heavy rain and flooding continues today. The weather setup is very similar to what we saw yesterday, though there may be some tweaks in the timing. By late morning, we'll likely see some storm cells setting up, and wherever they do, those areas will be most at risk for flooding. Stay connected to the storm station. In the event there is flooding, make sure you have a way to see warning information. A flash flood warning was issued several times yesterday, and it's possible they could be reissued again today for your area. Again, stay connected and stay weather aware.
.806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Cade Wasan producing. Thanks again to Lieutenant Don Capola for stopping by for Crimestoppers. Thanks again to Dr. Cade Brumley for stopping by for talk a little bit about back to school. And we're not done with back to school yet. New schools for Baton Rouge in the house in our next segment. As we've got Kenneth Campbell going to be by. And then it's going to take a weird turn. Because do you know what Microcon is? Mid-City Microcon coming your way. Cade, do you know what Microcon is?
It's a small conference.
Yes. But about what?
It's a good guess.
Yeah,
I would look forward to speaking with our representative from the East Baton Rouge Parish Library.
That's coming up at 8:40 today. So we got a lot of ground to cover before we get out of here. Hey, going to get you to this day in history in just a minute. But I do want to remind you that tomorrow morning. Okay, you going to be in tomorrow? Is Alondra across the hall again tomorrow?
I'm upstairs.
You're
tomorrow,
upstairs
so
tomorrow.
She's back here.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you right now.
I'll be here early, but not as early.
I got 2 words for you.
Yeah?
Smalls Sliders.
Oh, so I thought you were going to say the weekend.
No. Small sliders tomorrow for Foodie Friday, presented by Louisiana Beef Industry Council. BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com is the website. BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com.
Be a friend and save me one. They're delicious.
Dude, I'll save you a couple of them, man. Depending on how many they bring. They need. We need like the full delivery
Give
pack.
the bread to Alondra. I'll take the beef patty.
Okay, we can do that for sure.
Gluten-free.
You're not gluten free. You're getting gluten for free. That's the difference.
Hey-o.
Yeah. BeefIsWhat'sForDinner.com is the website. If you want any recipes, tips, tricks, hacks when it comes to preparing beef, finding new ways to prepare beef. Beef provides you with 10 vitamins and nutrients, including proteins and iron to fuel your body throughout every phase of your life. BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com brings you Foodie Friday, but that's not until tomorrow. Right now, it's time for This Day in History.
All right, Brian.
Yes, sir.
I'll take you back to 1936 Summer Olympics.
Ooh, yeah.
1936.
Big one there.
They were in Berlin, Germany. And not only were medals won, but kind of moments. You know, you talk about moments in sports where you can see the photograph of the athlete or the athlete on the podium, and it's Jesse Owens winning the long jump.
Yeah.
And more than just a sports win, I think there was a big emphasis on being able to go there, come away with a win with things that were going on in the times.
In your face, Hitler.
There you go. He was a bad guy. 1944, Anne Frank was captured, and while that's certainly a very sad story, the diary that she kept was left behind and not picked up by the Nazi team that came in to capture her and her family and those she was staying with. But that diary would later give us a story and a picture of things that happened. And so while a sad story, I think that time and that book really served a lot of history well to kind of at least understand what was going on.
Absolutely.
2006, on a lighter note, Talladega Nights was released in theaters.
What?
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. 2012, Oscar Pistorius becomes the first amputee runner to compete at the Olympics, but his story certainly took a dark turn because in 2014, he was found guilty of the murder of his girlfriend.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I guess A and B side to that story. 2019, you were talking about this in a kind of, in relation to Crimestoppers, kind of relation to education. 2019, in Dayton, Ohio, there was a mass shooting, 24 hours after, if you remember, the Walmart in El Paso incident that had killed 22 people. So it was a weird time where we had back-to-back days with some type of mass shooting event.
Is that all the events you have for this day in history?
Yes, it is.
Because I got a couple. that I have to lean in on.
Yeah.
So I got two of them that are baseball related. On this day in 1992, and this is a big deal here, Cade. On this day in 1992 at an auction, Charlie Sheen paid $93,500 for the Mookie ball. The ball that went through Bill Buckner's legs. Charlie Sheen bought it on this day in 1992.
Wild Thing Vaughn bought it?
Yeah, Wild Thing Rick Vaughn, 6 years after the infamous Game 6, right through Buckner's legs.
Winning.
Charlie Sheen bought that bad boy. 1 year later, this day in 1993, and this one I'm a lot more serious about.
Okay.
This day in 1993, you don't mess with an old man. You don't try to fight an old man. Old men have that old man strength.
Yeah.
You don't mess with them. On this day in 1993, White Sox third baseman Robin Ventura charged the mound after Nolan Ryan after getting hit by a pitch. Robin Ventura became the personification of bleep around and find out. Robin Ventura got handled by Nolan Ryan. I mean, he comes at him, Ryan puts him in a headlock, throws 6 punches, lands 6 punches, chalk one up for the old man.
Kind of behind the woodshed kind of thing.
Oh, wait. Behind the woodshed, but in front of everybody.
Right. Birthdays today.
Yeah.
Actor Tina Cole, My Three Sons, is 79. Comedian Richard Belzer.
Richard Belzer?
Richard Belzer is 78.
Was he on Law and Order?
Yeah.
Interesting
Munch,
little tidbit.
Detective Munch.
Going way back in the day, the movie Scarface with Al Pacino from the early 80s. Richard Belzer was the stand-up comic in the nightclub where they were hanging out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
When
the Babylon was the name of the club.
Back in the day, in SVU, Law and Order at SVU, Richard Belzer was partnered as a detective with Finn Ice-T.
Oh.
So
what you're saying is
that was the duo there.
So it's like when they smoke too many cigarettes?
Billy Bob Thornton is 67 years old today. Let's see. This guy is better known for his last name, Gelman. Michael Gelman, who's a longtime producer of Live with Kelly and Ryan, whatever it's been. He's 61 today. Let's see. Michael DeLuise, Gilmore Girls, NYPD Blue, he's 53.
All right.
Meghan Markle, 41.
I mean, okay. I assume you're saving up for the big names.
Yeah. Dylan and Cole Sprouse from the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody.
Oh, gotta
30.
love Zach and Cody. Sweet Life on Deck was better.
They were also in Grace Under Fire.
Let's take this train wreck and put it on a cruise ship. Good call, Disney.
That's all the birthdays I got. I'm guessing you got more.
I have a few.
Okay.
Billy Bob Thornton.
Yeah, I mentioned him.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you mention Barack Obama?
I did not.
Barack Obama's listed as 61
44.
years old today. Yeah. Jeff Gordon, born on this day in 1971. Roger Clemens, the Rocket. It's his birthday. And born on this day in 1901, Louis Armstrong.
Pops.
Check it out at dropbiscuitstudios.com. Pops, the Louis Armstrong story, available at dropbiscuitstudios.com. I'm trying to see if I have any more. Let me get through these real quick.
National IPA Day, National Coast Guard Day, National Chocolate Chip Cookie Day.
Okay.
If you want to celebrate.
It's National IPA Day?
Yeah. So have an IPA and have a cookie and then try to sit up out of your chair.
All right.
Right? That's heavy.
Yep. All right. That's this day in history.
It is.
We're late for a break. When we come back, let's talk new schools for Baton Rouge next. Yo, sir. Come on in. Thank you. That is the most foolish segment of the day.
That's a cool segment.
But
How you doing?
thanks. You're doing good. How are you?
Do I have to get in this?
Yeah, you got to climb on in that one. So we broke a chair the other day, so I had to go steal that one from down the hall.
The short person who needed to have this raised up so high.
Yeah.
So how you guys been? How's your summer?
I hate summer. It just, there's so many logistical parts. Like, the school year is busy, but super regimented.
Yeah.
I know where my kids are at all times. Like, I know we're going from here to here. I know it's going to take logistics to get us where we need to go, but you know where you have. Right.
Absolutely.
Right. So, summertime is, okay, what's going on this week? Who needs to be where this week and this week
At
only?
what time?
Right.
And if you have multiples,
We have 3.
then you're going.
We had one went to Colorado for 10 days.
Yeah.
We had one went to a sleepover camp in Texas for a week.
Yeah.
And then while that was going on, the older one went to on another Catholic trip for a weekend.
Okay.
So, just, and then we tried to squeeze in a vacation. It was ill-advised.
Yeah, where'd y'all go?
We went to Pensacola.
Okay.
But the Airbnb was about a mile away from the beach, and it rained the whole time we're there.
Yeah.
If it rains while you're at the beach, no big deal. But if you're on the beach, like you can sit on the balcony and listen to the waves, and otherwise you're just in Florida.
You're just in Florida. There's this big high rise right there on Pensacola Beach. There's 4 or 5 buildings.
Yeah.
And somebody found that place a couple of years ago, and we went. We used to go about once every couple of years, which was nice. I always found it interesting.
I enjoy it. I'm good with the beach for about a day and a half.
Yeah, then you're done.
Yeah.
We, I think Hawaii is becoming our favorite kind of vacation spot.
Well.
And I think it works because, one, when I go on vacation, I don't want to do anything. Like book, drinks, sit back, relax. That's all I want to do.
Right.
My wife likes stuff. So Honolulu actually gives us the best of both worlds, right? Because it really is a city. They got restaurants, they got shopping, they got, like all the stuff that you might want. But each morning I'm able to get up and walk down to the beach and just chill. So it's one of those best of both worlds kind of.
Yeah, we like to rotate. We do a busy vacation one year and then a chill vacation the next year. Like we did Washington, D.C. last year.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Nonstop.
Loved it.
Though. Yeah.
Walked more than 40 miles in a week.
Yeah.
That's a lot of walking.
It is.
So. (818) Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Time to welcome back to the show. He heads up new schools for Baton Rouge. He is Kenneth Campbell. Ken, welcome back, man. How are you?
Good to be back. I'm good.
No, glad to have you on. Let's. I'm gonna swing this one around.
Okay.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, we've been having that mic's been running low this morning. I don't know why. It is back to school time.
Yeah.
What does that mean for new schools?
Well, for us, I think it means one. We do have one new school operator opening this year. Geo Academies is opening their first school in Baker.
Okay.
So opening Baker in the old Bethany Church. They're starting with kindergarten and first grade, and so we're really excited about that. And many of our schools have already started for the year. So we've got the first day down for most of our schools, a few more to go, but it's really good to go ahead and get kids back in school, get bus routes going early, kind of figure some of those things out.
Yeah, so I'll be going through that next week. That's next week in the Haldane house and throughout the Catholic schools in Baton Rouge. But the last school year brought about a number of new schools here in town. So they're kind of got the first year bugs worked out. They're ready to hit the ground running this year. Who came on board last year that we're looking for more things from this year?
So last year we had a new basis school open, right? So we were really excited about getting that other basis school open.
The one in Florida.
The one on Florida.
Gorgeous
IDEA
campus.
opened its campus in North Baton Rouge on Plank Road, and so we were really excited about that. So we had a couple of schools start last year, and we got one this year, and then we got a couple coming next year, which we're really excited about. So Great Hearts is opening down at Harveston. That'll be next August. And Discovery Health, right, a group out of Kenner that's partnered with Ochsner,
right,
will also be opening. So, they have a year of preparation and kind of getting ready to go.
Very cool stuff. From a back-to-school perspective, are things different for charter schools than they are for public schools?
No, not really. Not really. I mean, you tend to go through all the work that you have to do ahead of time. So you're practicing routines. You're doing a lot of teacher training. I think there's probably a heightened sense on teacher training in some of the charter schools than you see in traditional public schools. So irrespective of whether or not teachers have been there, they still tend to go through training a lot more, and the tempo on that is a little bit increased. So you have a little bit of that, but otherwise, I think it is largely the same. It is, how do we get kids and families used to what we're going to do? A lot of charters do have time for kids and families to be on campus ahead of school starting for the first time. So, they've kind of gone through, seen their classrooms, know the routines. You do some of those things so that they're used to what the school is going to be like when they get there. So that's a little bit different.
What about on the workforce? On the workforce front, because we're looking at a teacher shortage throughout public schools. Are y'all feeling that sting?
Yeah, it's a deal everywhere. I think the district overall, and not just our district, but the whole metro area, state of Louisiana, finding strong educators is important. And I think we need to be employing a strategy that says, hey, how do we find people now? But also, very importantly, how do we start to prepare this next generation? We don't have as many kids coming through schools of education now. So LSU is down, Southern's down, Southeastern's down. And so those were at one point the kind of largest producers of educators in our state.
Right.
Now a lot of them are coming through alternative certification programs. So somebody who's got a degree in something else, 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road, they said, hey, I think I want to teach. The economy is not what I thought it would be. And so we got a lot more people coming in that pathway now. And I think collectively we haven't organized ourselves around that, Brian, in the way that we need to.
Is it a bit of a different approach than you would have for public schools with, whether it be Teach 225, or do you let the schools handle it on their own, or is it a combination of forces to kind of multiply the efforts?
Yeah, I think where we need to be and the system, we all need to be in the place of saying, okay, what's our process for attracting teachers? How do we make sure that we have the right pay scales in place? How do we make sure we have the right incentives in place? But I'd like schools to actually own the training and development of their own people. They tend to have their own approach, even in traditional public schools. And so, schools handle the training, but we need to do better on just the ecosystem. We need to get more people into the profession and getting them ready to go and then farmed out to schools.
How much autonomy do charter schools have when it comes to how they run their own, for lack of a better word, run their own business?
Yeah, I mean, total. And I think there are a number of accountabilities that are most important to me. We're actually hoping that more traditional public schools do this in EBR. First is over who the people are who work in your building. Your principal, your teachers, and you have the authority to hire and fire your staff. And so I really do think talent is the most important one. Second is money. How do you spend your resources? Not 20%, 30%, not some mystical number. It is the entire budget.
Right.
And so if you decide decide, as GEO has decided they want to invest in all kids getting dual enrollment, you make some trade-offs or some other things so that you can make that happen. And so I'm excited about that. And then I think the third one really is time. How do you use your time? Do you have a longer day, a longer year? How do you structure your breaks? Things like that I think are also important. And then I think your approach to teaching, right? This is how we're going to approach this. Science of reading. We have had a number of schools working on science of reading, and people are acting like, well, this is, like the way to teach reading. Yeah, it's always been the way to teach reading. And so stuff like that I think is very important. So we are hoping, Brian, that we could actually have more schools be able to operate that autonomy, not only charter schools. We think it's great for traditional public schools also.
What are there issues, are there problems with that level of autonomy, though?
I mean, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Right.
And so there are some people who don't do as well with it.
Yeah.
But I think we know how to mitigate for that, right? I think we know how to go in and intervene. We're looking at budgets each year. We got legislative auditor looking through stuff. We have the ability to visit campus and make sure things are going the way we need them to. So it is responsible adults, right, taking the responsibility for the work that they have.
No, absolutely. But I ask because as the number of charter schools grows, the level of oversight has to grow with it, because we need to be keeping tabs and making sure everybody's living up to the standards that they're living up to.
We do.
But there's also, the more new businesses you get in, the more new the more new businesses that want to open schools, you're going to have new business models.
Yes.
And does that present any trappings as far as, like, if you're a parent wanting to send your kid to a charter school, are there added costs that go along with that?
No. There are no added costs to go along with that for families.
For the school itself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No added costs.
Because I've heard reports of a couple schools doing things outside of the school itself, but kind of making it mandatory.
Yeah.
Do y'all have any oversight over schools that would?
Not any oversight, but I think if we were to see something like that, we'd be on the phone with people discouraging it right away.
Okay.
Because that's not what you want to do.
Okay.
In Louisiana, I think we do a really good job in our state of trying to make sure that we don't have excessive fees for kids or unexpected costs. I think we always want to maintain that posture.
Yeah, because that's been the whole sell so far. Like, I send my kids to a Catholic school because I want them to have a Catholic education.
Absolutely.
But for those who are looking for an alternative to public school, if they find a charter school and then get hit with like hidden fees on the back end, there's got to be some kind of
defeats the purpose.
Right, absolutely, it does. We're talking with Ken. We're talking with Ken Campbell about the upcoming school year. So you talked about 2 more planning on being on the way for next year. How far out in advance do y'all normally plan on that front?
Yeah, we try to have 18 to 24 months at least in advance that we have schools approved, because one of the most important things we think that you have to do, Brian, is you actually have to have adults, school leaders, dedicated to school launch and doing nothing else for at least 18 months, right?
Goodness gracious,
so that you're identifying the leader ahead of time, and they're spending all that time thinking about who are the people I'm going to hire, do I have the right curricular program, figuring out where the building's going to be, helping the right policy. All that stuff takes time, and I think too often people believe that you just snap your fingers and school starts.
Yeah.
And I actually think we as a state made a lot of mistakes with that, right? When you think about the schools that we took into the Recovery School District in 2009, right? We made the decision in January, and we told those people you have to open school in August, right? So they had a 6-month window to try to figure this out. And I actually think we did them a bit of a disservice. It just takes more time than that. You need to be very deliberate with your planning and preparing your team to start successfully.
Well, and the important part about that, and I don't want it overlooked, is having the malleability or the ability to look back and realize, hey, we did something wrong.
Right.
We can fix it moving forward, instead of no. This is the way we've always done it. So this is the way we will always do it. That point should not be overlooked. Got a couple minutes left. Hey, so I had Dr. Brumley on earlier, right?
Yeah.
We talked LEAP scores.
Yep.
Do y'all follow that same path, and are y'all seeing the same trends?
We are. We're seeing exactly the same trends. We're seeing, slight increases, right? We're picking up to, getting to the area where we were, pre-pandemic, not there yet. So we're making up for that learning loss. But I think the real key is, can we sustain and actually accelerate? Right? That's what we have to do. It's not just sustaining. It's not 3-3-3, because I just don't have confidence. I think we need to be making massive gains in some schools, and we need to figure out how to do that more consistently.
So I asked because with public schools, they want to get back to pre-pandemic levels.
Yeah.
So if we're looking at anything in the charter school world, looking 3 school years ago is not going to give us an apples to apples comparison because y'all have grown by leaps and bounds since then.
Absolutely.
So it's impossible to say, like, here's where we're at in 2022 versus here's where this blueprint or outline of what we were going to be was before the pandemic.
That's right. I think the only part, the part I think that Dr. Brumley was absolutely correct on is our earliest learners, right? Because we got to think, like, we got kids coming to kindergarten or going to 3rd grade this year who, haven't really been in school as consistently as they need to be. So literacy is going to be a big issue in those early grades. We certainly are also paying attention to that because I think that's huge.
No, it is huge.
Yeah.
And in the meanwhile, some schools are already back in.
Yeah.
That's
well,
I find it incredible. Look, I long for it, man.
Yeah, look, families would always say, "Thank God,
right?
School has started." And
Wait,
I think that's important.
You go through March and April, and you're like, "I cannot wait to get these kids a break. I cannot wait for the summertime." You get 3 weeks into summertime, and it's no,
I gotta get them back. Yeah,
where can we get? Where?
Yeah. And I think the other thing that Dr. Brumley said this morning was, kind of a year without disruptions, right? And so, I am hoping and praying that we have a year without disruption. Like, we need no hurricanes this year, and you would, when you think the past few years, all across, South Louisiana, either in Lafayette, New Orleans, like, we've been inundated. And so that would be really good. No COVID disruptions. We need kids in school every single day this year.
Totally.
And I think that's probably the most important thing that we can do.
No, absolutely. We went from COVID to Laura Delta Zeta.
Yes.
To Ida.
Yes.
I mean, just it's been a rough go.
It's been a rough go.
Yeah.
And I think our educators need that consistency. Our families need it. I think our community needs it. And so that's my biggest hope for the year. I think if we could have a year that's not disrupted, I think we'll be okay.
Well, let's hope for it. I mean, we're 2 months and 4 days into hurricane
season. Well, look at all the
season.
rain that we've gotten. I'm hoping that
I know.
that we squeeze all the juice out of that lime.
Right?
There won't be anything left.
I don't think it works that way, but we're going to hope for it anyway.
Yes.
He is Kenneth Campbell, the head of New Schools for Baton Rouge. I always appreciate the time, sir.
Always, absolutely.
Yes, sir. All right, quick break. Check news, check traffic, check weather. When we come back, we're going to talk Mid-City Microcon. We'll get the folks from the East Baton Rouge Parish Library coming up next right here on Talk 107.3 FM. That's, like I said, right after we check news. We're going to start with CBS here on Talk 107.3.
I've been dying to ask you. Every time I get with Laura,
Yeah.
get you one, I just write down Ken.
Yeah.
Are you a doctor as well?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Please. Yeah, no.
I'm always I'm hesitant unless I know, but I don't want to like.
Well, let me tell you, it's so funny. Like when Cade got to the department, he brought in a bunch more PhDs with him. And so, like, when you're in meetings with them, they're calling each other Doctor this and Doctor this. I was like, y'all are wearing me the hell out.
Oh, and Cade is so, like, he's so good. He doesn't talk doctor.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
He's very much you and me.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Kill the mics for a second, Cade. Hey. Yes, one quick second. Uh-huh. Okay, so. Come on in. Sorry, come on in. Hey, I'm Brian. This you right here. And my apologies. I had somebody wanting me to ask a very specific question of the last guest, and so I was following up with that person. So. Did I just hear a news report from Marshall and Goldsby? Okay. Interesting. That's a very interesting play. Yeah. No. I understand. I understand. Rain at noon. Oh, I'm doing the forecast this time. Yeah, and it's going to continue through at least next Friday.
Campbell, right? Brian,
Campbell. Ken Campbell.
And it's new schools for Baton Rouge?
Mm-hmm. Oh, she totally misheard this. Heart. Okay. Well, I'll just live with it. It's fine. Adding Friday meetings on a Thursday. That's, yeah. Yes. Oh, that's what I was bringing up. Was that my super secret app? Mm-hmm. Yes, we are looking at more rain today, and yes, it's going to look slightly different than yesterday. At this time yesterday morning, we were just getting washed out. Well, later on this morning, you could expect rain. About a 50-50 shot at rain kicking in around 11 o'clock this morning. That's going to ramp up. Noon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock is where it's going to be at its heaviest. Overall, it's a 90% chance of rain over the course of the day. It will scale back as we move through the afternoon hours. The rain itself should be cleared up by afternoon drive this afternoon. That being said, today's high only getting up to 85. If you've got a lot of clouds in the forecast for the hottest part of the day, it's not going to be all that hot. 85 today. Overnight low tonight down to 72. We top out at 88 tomorrow with another 50-50 shot at rain. Overnight low Friday night into Saturday getting back down to 73. 89 is your high for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, it's just gorgeous. We're not going to be back in the 90s until all this rain passes. In the meanwhile, we do have to deal with the potentials of flash floods and a little bit of street flooding right now in downtown Baton Rouge. It is 79 degrees. Okay. 8:38. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Coming up this weekend, Mid-City Microcon is back. Here to talk about it from the East Baton Rouge Parish Library is Ned Darby. Ned, welcome to Talk 107.3. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. So, first and foremost, what is Mid-City I know we've talked about it in the past, but what is Mid-City Microcon?
So Mid-City Microcon is a 2-day just celebration of all things comics, any geeky thing you can possibly imagine. We have a lot of great local artists coming in. We have a lot of great presenters and panelists talking about what they do in fandom and what they like about being a nerd, basically.
So, and that's the dirty little secret there, is we love making fun of nerds until we figure out we're nerds for something ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
And then it comes back around a little bit. So, walk me through a little bit of the schedule. What can we expect?
Okay, so Saturday is the day that we're having most of our panels and presentations. We're starting off with The Bear and the Beard talking about how to get toxicity out of fandom spaces. Then we have a panel by...
Pause.
Okay.
What does that mean?
So there's a tendency in fandom, so nerds are cliquey, right?
Yes.
Everybody has their thing that they're incredibly passionate about. And so there is a tendency, especially with the anonymity of the internet, to pile on to anybody who doesn't like things the same way that you like the thing that you're passionate about. And so this panel is about how to be kind of more welcoming to people who are just coming into a new show or comic or whatever that's been around for a long time without making them feel like they're doing it wrong just because they haven't been there since the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're kind of losing the hazing, losing the initiation phase that has come with the internet so far. Okay, good. Keep going. Sorry.
Absolutely.
I'm probably going to interrupt a bunch, but keep going.
That's great. Okay, and so then we have a panel called Outside the Margins, which is about kind of how nerdy pursuits have become more mainstream over time.
They really have.
They really have. I
Yeah.
mean, the Avengers made all of the money, I think is the correct term.
Yeah, that is
So,
exactly right. And they keep coming out with new characters,
really do,
and each one keeps topping the one before it, and yeah, it really has.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have an art workshop with Keith Cartoon Man Douglas.
Okay.
And then we have a panel called Reading Rainbow, which is basically just a bunch of local librarians talking about LGBTQIA plus representation in comics and science fiction and fantasy.
Okay.
And then we will cap off the day with Hector Rodriguez, who is the creator of a superhero called El Peso Hero, which was recently turned into a short film. And so he's going to talk about creating a hero, creating your own comic story, and then he's also started his own publishing company. So we'll be talking about that a little bit as well.
Very cool stuff. Now, that's just Saturday. What's coming up on Sunday as well?
Okay, Sunday is our cosplay day. So we will have a panel from Gamma Ray Cosplay, who's also going to be one of our cosplay judges. It's called My Cosplay is Black, but My Afro is Blue, and it's about participating in cosplay as a person of color. It'll be, I think, very casual. She'll be talking with the audience about how to get into cosplay, kind of what you can expect if you're a beginner, and so on.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it should be.
Okay, cosplay crossing racial lines.
Yes.
Okay, now traditionally, I wouldn't really think about that because there haven't been a whole lot of black superheroes.
Yeah.
But if I show up as Black Panther, is that like out of order?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, because there are so few characters of color that, it's not great.
I mean, all right.
Okay, and then our cosplay competition starts at 4 p.m. You can sign up all day on Saturday or Sunday. You can also sign up online if you want to at ebrpl.com/mcmc is the short link.
Gotcha.
The cosplay, so the cosplay contest starts at 4, and then the awards and recognition will start at 6 p.m., and that will be the close of the Microcon for this year.
How many years worth have y'all done Microcon? I know y'all were on last year, so how many years have y'all done this?
This is our 5th year.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's it grown over the time?
Well, we started off with a one-day event. Over time, just because the cosplay competition especially has grown, so we decided to give it its own day so that we could highlight it more and bring in more there are a lot of really great cosplayers or crafty people in Baton Rouge. So this year, Louisiana May will actually be running a drop-in cosplay repair workshop on Sunday for people who show up and maybe like their costume is a little bit broken. They can help you fix it up right there before you get ready for the competition.
When it comes to the cosplay, this is for those that aren't familiar with the term, you're dressing up as your favorite superhero, basically.
Yeah.
what do we normally see, and what's the most out there you've seen?
Well, so it really runs the gamut from things like recently there's a trend called Disney bounding, which is basically you dress up like a character but not exactly in that character's costume. There's stuff like that, from just whatever you have in your closet that would match what the superhero looks like, to people get really involved and will like sculpt replicas of weapons that are used in that franchise, or just the like armor and things like that. It can get incredibly impressive. I think my favorite one, one year, somebody in the kids group of the cosplay made her costume out of cardboard and duct tape, and it was incredible.
All right. Looking forward to that. It always gets a little bit. The pictures that pop up online, the pictures that pop up on social media are always fun. Can we spend a couple more? I want to go back to day one. Sure. I want to go back to day one in the Reading Rainbow segment. The LGBTQIA representation in comics. I'm curious about this from a standpoint of, aren't comics an escape from reality? And like, why? Talk to me about why this is important.
So comics can be an escape from reality, but everyone wants to escape reality, right? So it's important to be able to see yourself represented even in your escape, because otherwise you feel like it doesn't belong to you, or you can't really participate in it the way that you would like to. And so it's important for there to be, or for us to talk about LGBTQIA plus representation, so that people who maybe need an escape most can feel like they're part of it too. Yeah.
I can see. Because thinking back, I wasn't a huge comic book kid, but thinking back, I couldn't tell you what superheroes were gay.
Yeah, they're incredibly few.
But not know. I don't know. The not knowing part is like, looking back on it, I couldn't tell you one way or the other. Like, if you were to rewrite, say, Superman, I legit wouldn't know. Maybe I just wasn't dialed in enough. But that is just one of the topics along the way. I got to tell you, my favorite along the way is probably going to be the first one. The getting rid of the toxicity, because this is something that's pervasive with the internet, not just the comic world, not just the Comic-Con world, but everywhere on the internet. The anonymity has led to just downright vile comments, no matter where you're at. So I would imagine it's much tougher. It's a much tougher path within something that, you've got genres, and how many times do you hear Star Wars people say that's not canon? Like, it just, that sort of thing would open up. It's an opening for meanness.
Yeah, it can be a great opportunity to build community, because people can feel freer to represent themselves however they would like to be perceived, but it can also be a shield for people who just want to be mean. Yeah. They're just looking for that outlet to take it out on somebody else. Exactly. So Saturday, August 6th, Sunday, August 7th. So this weekend. Where at here? Which library are we at? The main library on Goodwood, which is 7711 Goodwood Boulevard, at 70806. Most of it will be taking place on the first floor, and come by and see all of our great vendors.
For the cosplay part of this, I got to ask, do folks show up that aren't ready for this? Like, have you seen reactions? Like, what's going on here?
Well, the library will still be open for regular services, so yes, we do get some people who are just there to check out the books or use the computers, and they are not expecting 14 superheroes to walk by.
That is the content I'm here for. That's what I want to see. That level of reaction probably is better than anything else going on. That's got to be fun. You said a number of vendors. Give me some examples of what vendors are going to be out there before we're done.
Sure. Okay, so we've got a lot of local artists like Risen Vision. There are companies like Blurtish that run podcasts talking about geeky things from a perspective. There are a lot of local artists who do fandom art and jewelry, and there's really all kinds of things. There's something for everybody, truly.
Very cool stuff. Saturday, August 6th, Sunday, not very nerdy stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Look, it's all fun and games until you find where you nerd out on. That's where I'm. Look, the Christopher Nolan Batman. That's the one that got me. So
I mean, you can't tell me baseball fans aren't nerds, because that's a lot of statistics.
No, seriously, I can dive in. The amount of baseball statistics versus physics in my head is not funny. Like, I can't. Anyway. Saturday and Sunday at the Goodwood branch of the library. Ned Darby, I appreciate you hopping on board today. Thanks so much. Absolutely. We've got your money now coming your way 1 minute from right now, which gives me enough time to tell you about the folks over at Mathern's Market. They've got 2 locations, downtown on 3rd Street and the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center. Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, they are right across the street from Tiger Stadium. If you're looking at Tiger Stadium, turn around, boom, there they are. I tell you that because football season is very fast approaching. If you're ready to release your inner tailgate nerddom, Mathern's has got you covered. Heading out to campus for game day, Mathern's is going to be your headquarters. You don't have to go heavy. You just stop by. If your friends weren't living up to your grilling expectations, Mathern's has got you covered. Need some craft beers? Mathern's has got you covered. By the way, they're a full-service grocery store, so whatever you forgot for your tailgate, Mathern's has got you covered. Plus, they're there every other day of the year as well. Downtown on 3rd or the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, full-service grocery store. Download the Mathern's app today. Get your grocery shopping done before you even leave work day. Bring it out to your car. You're done. I just saved you an hour out of your week. You are welcome. Not to mention, the lunch counter is just ridiculous. If you don't have lunch plans today, swing by Mathern's. Either grab yourself a hot lunch or one of the best salad bars in Baton Rouge. Downtown on 3rd or right across the street from Tiger Stadium is Mathern's Market. All right. Thank you so much. No, it was fun. The no toxicity thing. We see it every freaking where. Yeah. It's everywhere. It's anytime anybody has a chance to be an asshole, somebody's being an asshole. And it's really it's counterintuitive because aren't you into this because you're looking to get away from people who are like this in real life? It just gets weird. People get weird power play things. Right. They've been in fandom for a long time. Right. They've been passionate about anything for a long time. Exactly. Everybody to know that they were here first, and so it belongs to them. Yeah. Belongs to all of us. Exactly. So, all right. Well, y'all can have fun this weekend. Thank you. Oh, Ned! Got somebody on YouTube asking, do you have to register or can you just show up? Okay. Sorry, chased her down the hallway. You could just show up. It's completely free. Toes the rubber. Yeah, I saw that. I haven't opened the email yet. I just... Right, and then they send it to us. Yes. No, it's basically like Matt and Christy are on a Comrex, and they're back in a studio. I don't think they use a Comrex. That's the easy comparison. Mm-hmm. $8:55, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Just about done for the day. Already looking ahead to tomorrow. We're going to have Foodie Friday presented by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council. The folks from Small Sliders will be in the house. No Haggai Davis tomorrow. Haggai's going to be out this week and next week. And then we will return to the Cup of Tech Gumbo after that. I can tell you, in his stead, well, I shouldn't say this until it's actually already recorded. I'm going to be speaking with the woman who plays Maria on Sesame Street. I know, random, but the backstory here is going to be phenomenal. So I'm looking forward to that. Also, at some point, I got to check in on this Alex Jones trial. I'm fascinated by this whole thing. Alex Jones, for those that don't know, Alex Jones is a conspiracy theorist, rabble-rouser of a talk show host. He's often described as right-wing, but I would say that there's a place beyond that where you're wearing a tinfoil hat, and that's where Alex Jones resides. There's a place beyond that where you believe that birds are actually robots filming you for the government, and that's where Alex Jones resides. There's a place where you believe that wind doesn't blow on the moon, so they fake the moon landing because the flag's standing up. Like, there's a place where that's where he is. Now, he's on trial right now, and a lot of this is revolving around, I guess, just being an instigator when it comes to response to the Sandy Hook shooting. But if you haven't been following...
Did he call part of it a hoax?
Oh, he called all of it a hoax.
All of it a hoax?
And he calls just about, like, whenever there's a mass shooting, he says, oh, they've hired crisis actors. Crisis actors. The people that you see on TV in the wake of a mass shooting when they're crying, and some of them covered in blood, and they're consoling each other over lost loved ones. And it just... Here's the thing. I've listened to Alex Jones in the past, and I've enjoyed most of his conspiracy theories, putting chemicals in the water to make the frogs gay. Those types of things are just fun, as long as you don't buy into them, as long as you don't believe what he's saying, as long as you walk down the path of, let's just go for a ride, I'll get off the ride and get back to reality later on. But
you know what it feels like?
What?
News WWE.
A little bit.
Because I always felt like there was there's got to be a character, right? And it always felt a little News WWE. I don't know what part he believes or buys in, or what part he's playing up to an audience.
So, and that's the thing of it, though, is does it matter? Like, as his career has evolved, shouldn't he evolve to the tenor of who his fandom is? Like, shouldn't there be a part where he sees, whoa, 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 this is out of control. These people are believing me not on the level of entertainment. They're believing me on the level of, like, discipleship. And that's where it gets nutty. Like, following, protesting outside the Bilderberg conference. That's one thing. Infiltrating, what's that retreat center in Northern California where they're out in the woods and they light the giant wooden owl on fire? I don't remember the name of it. But, like, that's the vintage...
Staples Center?
No. No. But that's the vintage Alex Jones where you're getting into conspiracies of, like, world domination and the new world order, and it's fun to play with that sort of thing as long as it remains fun to play with that sort of thing. When you start getting down to the level of watching a grieving mother cry her eyes out, and you call her an actor on your show? Bro, once you're that you've crossed a line. And that's where he's at. So I got to find somebody to talk with that knows more about this trial. We got to dive into this one. I got time to do it tomorrow. Maybe while Haggai was supposed to be here. Anyway, y'all have a great day. We're done on the air today. And, as far as this show is concerned, you got the Fox News Rundown coming up next. Brian Kilmeade, Dave Ramsey, Jay Ducote, all coming your way on Talk 107.3. Yeah, no, okay. We got to get out of here because I got an interview coming up in 10 minutes. But go to YouTube and look up Alex Jones, Gay Frogs. Yes, and somebody remixed it, and it's awesome as a remix. Here, a minute 10 worth of a remix. 15-second pre-roll, obviously. Nice. All right, here it goes. Is that beautiful? Hang on. Heroes. That's who has time. What were you saying, Cade? Right. Yeah, I'll talk Illuminati all day long and have fun with it. It's fun. It's a path to walk down. There's no path here. You're just accusing everyday people. So yeah, totally. Let's go flat Earth. Anyway, hey YouTube, I got to get out of here. I got an interview coming up in just a minute with someone from Sesame Street who's not a puppet. So.